Oh, hello, chat. I see, I see some of you have come out today to join us in diving into an onion. I don't know why you're cutting this onion with us, but I guess this is our life now. Because guess what, chat? We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dear God, welcome to this clusterfuck that is Reaper's Creek. Oh, hi Vega. Just in time to ruin my flow. Tonight we are going through Reaper's Creek. I got a tall as fuck glass of mango lassi to help tide me over. And I am joined, as always, by Popcorn. Say hi, Popcorn.
Hey guys, I'm really tired from last night.
We are also joined mostly, as always, by Ginger.
Hey, what's up? I've got a migraine coming on, but nothing's gonna stop me from chopping this onion with you.
And we are also joined now newly by Carmen. Hello, Carmen.
Hi, just keep the mangoes away from me. I'm allergic.
Ah, that sucks. Well,
I know, right? Because everyone's sticking it at everything nowadays.
well, I mean, so long as I can't like email mangoes to the internet, you should be okay. Just give it time, though. We're getting there. God, we're going to be past swatting, and people are just going to be emailing people allergens.
Don't give people ideas. You know about this.
Oh, I'm sure I'm sure people have thought of that before.
This is like people thinking of inventing technology to smell over the internet.
And Ginger, if your migraine gets too much, you're welcome to bow out.
Okay.
Do what I do, take painkillers before you start, because this always gives me a migraine. And I'm not joking. His writing is that bad.
All right.
Well, if I had thought to do that, I would have been late.
So we are starting off
'Cause I
with
would've been-
God of Black.
That is a really weird D&D campaign.
Actually,
So-
go on.
This is where dyslexia becomes funny, because I misread this title. Even though I said it properly earlier, when I sat down, I saw it as God is Black, and I was like, wait,
God
what?
is a black
That does
woman.
not sound so... Yeah, I was like, that doesn't sound like something a racist child molester would say. Oh, no, I misread it.
No, a racist, anti-theist child molester.
Well, then in the name of Goddess Medusa, fuck him.
I'm pretty
May
sure
his dick be
he's
cut
an
off with
anti-theist.
Harpe.
Okay, so... Alright, it's good I have a bit of phlegm because of my allergies, because I think I can do Cartman better that way.
Okay, before we start, my cat is drooling. Just so all of you have that cute picture in your head.
Is your cat's tongue hanging out?
No, it's just I'm scratching his chin and it's dribbling down his lips.
Okay. The aliens haven't bothered me for years. Maybe they didn't send out a distress signal. Maybe they're afraid of me. I've been keeping myself busy with my abilities. I've learned to levitate on command. As I go through, I'm getting more in character. I've learned to cook food with my thoughts. I can make water funnel upward and fall just by thinking about it. I can even repair injuries. Whatever is in my head, I can change the world around it in an instant. Maybe it was growing over time. Maybe the older I get, the more aliens fear me, which is why they tried to get me so young. I
Wait a
admit that
minute,
I've been left alone all this time because I simply wanted to be. A lot of people have been doing whatever I want them to. Julia's 18 now, and we've gone all the way many times. Ew, Greg! I never told
Also, is Greg ripping off Empress Teresa? He went from having the ability to see death to suddenly having all of Teresa's powers.
That's what I was thinking when we left off last time.
No, I don't think it's ripping off Empress Teresa because he didn't start with the abilities. Empress Teresa was always God.
Yeah, but it's still...
Empress Teresa wasn't always God. She got them from the aliens.
Yeah, even though I haven't read the whole thing, I even know that much.
Well,
she got her powers from the weird...
Her power level didn't change. Like, once she got the powers, that was basically a power level for the whole book. It was just a question.
Yeah. So he's got the basics of escalating abilities, but it's still like he went from being able to see death to Empress Teresa.
Actually, I think this might be more powerful than Empress Teresa. Because Empress Teresa couldn't change the... We'll get there, we'll get there.
But whatever the case is, it is very important that you all know that Greg has sex. That is the most important takeaway from this book.
Wait a minute, if she's 18, he'd be 14. Oh no.
I never told her to do anything. But the summer that just passed, the moment I desired her, she made herself available to me. She calls me when I miss her, doesn't when I'm distracted. No one argues with me anymore. No one questions me. My test scores in class are always passing, even when I pay absolutely no attention.
Yeah, so the reason why I actually think he is actually more powerful than Empress Teresa is Empress Teresa couldn't actually... was never explicitly told that she could change the minds of people. Now, maybe, like, in subtext you could say, like, she was, like, modifying their thoughts, but explicitly in the text, everyone loved her because just everyone loved her. In this, everyone loves Greg because he's even subconsciously making them love him.
Yeah, can you also see the subtext for him not realizing he's grooming people?
Yeah! And Julia's now 18. Is only just now 18. God damn it, Greg.
Yeah, but the other thing is look at his age.
Oh, yeah.
It's September, a sunny day out. It's September, being a day out, being 14, I had just started high school. David was coincidentally in all the same classes as me. I had grown fond of him being around. We had a lot of long talks. He let me know all the reasons he did anything to distance himself from me. We even hugged. Throughout the orientation today, whenever I found myself getting bored, things would suddenly turn into a typical name game. Some teachers even resorted to letting us roam the halls early to get a better feel for the school in. Yeah.
Sorry, it's hard getting back into Cartman when I get out of Cartman.
And I'm just saying it now, since this is seriously probably taking place in the 2000s, if I don't hear a single reference from this uber homophobe saying no homo, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna legitimately be mad considering he said he and his male friend were hugging, and I went to school in the fucking 2000s. Anytime a guy did anything that could have subtext, it was no homo.
Yeah.
So, Greg, don't fucking disappoint me. This is the one time I want you to be an asshole. Fucking say it.
The teacher looked back at the student and said,
who wants to be the
why would you do her to me?
Wait, no, I skipped a lot.
In my last class of the day, PE, the teacher was talking about the essentials of safety. A male student with long black hair to my right raised his hand as a teacher.
But what if we want to hurt someone?
The teacher looked back at the student and said,
Does anyone want to be the teacher?
Why would you want to hurt anyone?
The boy looked at me and I saw right through him. I saw his alien form. It took years, but they finally decided to pursue me again. Yeah. He didn't get a chance to reply to the teacher's question. I knew what he was going to say. He was going to try to imply that I was a danger to the other students. He was going to try it at me. Everyone gathered around him and gasped for. Everyone gathered around him as he gasped for breath and fell over. The moment he looked in my eyes, it was like time froze. My heart was beating so quickly, my focus so precise, I felt my eyes could cut the air in half. That was when I decided he should die. He was right. I am a danger to the other students.
Yeah, maybe a little.
I love that. Like, he's going to say I'm a danger to the other students, so I killed him.
Minutes yet before I severed his ability to breathe, reality glowed around me. The lights, the skin of all the students, the teacher's bald head, it was like I could see everything. I knew that it all shined. In the moment, my existence demanded it.
It's really hard to stay in Cartman mode.
I knew everything I needed to know.
Ugh.
Take a breath and drink some water.
Cartman's fucking hard, man. Like, it
If you
is
wanna-
difficult being this much of a douche.
If you want to do something a little more subtle during the prose and save that for the dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah, do the narration as just slightly as something different, just so you're not throwing at your throat.
All right. I was thinking of doing Gilbert Gottfried for the narration, but I'm not worried about hurting myself. I'm worried about hurting all of you.
Why don't you just do basically do the Kenny routine where Kenny mumbles when he's wearing his hoodie but talks coherently when he's not wearing it? So just have it where Cartman's internal monologue is coherent and not whiny and shitty.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was when I decided he should die. Moments before I severed his ability to breathe, reality glowed around me. The
Wait. Hold on. Moments before I severed his ability to breath.
Oh, I'm sorry. Moments before I severed his ability to breath, reality glowed around me. The lights, the skin of all the students, the teacher's bald head, it was like I could see everything I needed. It all shined. And
So apparently the teacher's an anime protagonist with a giant forehead.
I'm just imagining that, like, the teacher's bald head is, like, everyone is just shining slightly, and you get to the teacher's bald head. Because I was mentioning explosively, I'm just imagining it's like a spotlight, like, from that, from the SpongeBob
That's
movie.
why I said, like, anime, where it's like they always have the bald head just reflects the sun like a mirror.
Yeah, Greg's PE teacher is taught by a JoJo character.
in the moment my existence demanded it, I knew everything I needed to know. I didn't need to hide anymore. I realized nothing could hurt me. That alien underestimated me, and when I was done deciding his fate, when I was done soaking in the reality of my situation, and the numerous factors saturating the air, like whispers in my head, had all spoken their piece at once, I surmise no one has ever known whoever or whatever I am.
I'm calling an ambulance!
Screamed the PE teacher as the alien's head smacked the ground repeatedly as it convulsed on the floor. His skull cracked open from his violent thrashing, echoed through my head. When I realized the aliens had found me, my brain instinctively sent a vibration outward so I could sense where this creature had come from. His trail left a stench I could only sense in my mind. Thousands of miles away, a ship idled. This one was different than the last. Thinking of the one that came before, over time I grew a subtle remorse for what I did to all the creatures on the initial ship. It was somewhat nice to know that I wouldn't be killing innocent bystanders and families of those who came to harm me this time around.
Just wait a moment.
Jesus Christ. And I thought my vampire character was fucking evil.
I laid down slowly as the screams began. The alien skin was melting away, and everyone who gathered around it began to see the boy for what he really was. I'm sure after a while they would notice I was now passed out, but I planned to be back before anyone showed concern. Flight out of
These-
here...
These kids are going to have some very bad dreams.
That's saying the least. So what did
Yeah.
you do at
That's-
school today, Timmy? Oh, we watched one of my classmates fell to the ground convulsing in pain, and then his skin melted off.
And he died while having a seizure and an asthma attack simultaneously, which is a very painful way to die.
Oh yeah. If Greg was merciful, he would have just turned off the guy's head or severed the spinal column.
Yeah, and Greg still thinks he's the hero.
Oh wait, no, we aren't at the part where we go, our hero, everybody. We aren't even there yet.
No. This is the point where we need Titus' voice saying, no, not Titus, the douchebag from 13? The one with the pink-haired girl. Basically, the dude who's always calling himself the hero in it, he's like, I'm the hero of this story, running around with his weird-ass gravity jacket. We just need clips of him because he wasn't a hero, and it perfectly matches up with this.
Oh no, this is even worse than that. Trust me, I know what's coming up.
Yeah, Swift. That's a very good point as well.
Yeah, actually, yeah, he could have turned this into scanners. He could have had exploding heads. Fuck you, Greg. This could have been way more entertaining. We could have had children covered in viscera.
The alien skin was melting away, and everyone who gathered around him began to see the boy. No, I read that. Flying out of your body is incredibly smooth. You can see the clouds blowing through the air, but you don't feel a thing. There's no weight, no friction, or any other form of resistance. The speed I traveled was selective. I was taking my time getting to the ship. I was taking my time. The speed I traveled was selective. I was taking my time getting to the ship simply because I hadn't traveled into space since the last time they had visited me. Hurrying would simply imply I was worried, but I knew I had plenty of time. The moment I had passed through the walls of a field activator on the entire ship. I don't think they knew I would find out what was going on so quickly. They thought I was now trapped, but I wasn't going to bother proving them wrong yet. My curiosity consumed me. Because I wasn't trapped. I wasn't trapped in there with them. They were trapped in there with me. Sorry. The aliens on board looked rough. Some had significant scars. Others were all crippled.
They all must die.
Passing through multiple rooms of the ship, I could hear their minds of old course screaming. There was a kitchen, a control station, bathrooms, bedrooms, everything you would expect at a space station made by humans, only in black and not presented in the same styles or proportions.
Yeah, that's
All right,
what I think
real
of
quick
when I think
question.
of spaceships.
Real quick question. What does that mean? Like, it's not presented in the same styles, so it's black, so everything is colored black, and it's not presented in the same styles or proportions. So, theoretically speaking, if nothing about this ship is recognizable in terms of our own human culture, then how the fuck do you know what the kitchen, control station, bathrooms, bedrooms, and everything else would look like? How do you identify?
Here's a better question. How does a light observing species like humans, even if he's astral projecting, see anything on a black spaceship if they don't have any lights? Because, fun fact, you could not actually see in a black spaceship even with moderate amounts of light because the severe absence of light, your eyes wouldn't be able to absorb enough. So you'd have a really hard time getting around. That's why the inside of space stations are painted white. It's to reflect the light around the room so your eyes can take in enough.
Yes, there are no angles or straight lines on this ship. Everything looks like a really dark stool sample.
Swift.
It was obvious these creatures were not here by their own choice. My original assumption was that they were simply afraid as they had heard stories about me, but seeing their bodies, they appeared as prisoners. This species must be one to exile everyone who is imperfect. Wait, what? This species must be one to exile everyone who is imperfect. I speak perfect
Anyone.
English.
Anyone who is imperfect.
It's odd, though. I had seen these aliens with hair exploded eyes before. I had seen them heal as if it was nothing before. So why were all these rooms filled with broken creatures? Unless there was a monetary system in their society, and healing came at a price! Space capitalism!
Or the writer of the story is a sadist and enjoys getting off on mocking inferior species as he views it despite them making him a telepath. Greg, I'm really losing any sympathy for you at this point in the
I don't
story.
know.
You're an
Or is
asshole.
very,
sympathy
or
for
is
him?
very, very restrictive.
Is Greg's self-insert in this story literally going to eat the rich? I kind of want to see that.
I don't, because he's going to go into like a 50-page diatribe of every single part of their body he's consumed and then violated their women somehow, because let's face it, you wouldn't be surprised if that was in the novel.
But the alien women are totally into it. Like
Yeah, and
it
somehow
would be
he's-
written in as an afterthought that they wanted it. Let's be real. He would write it in as an afterthought.
We just need everyone to know that sex with Greg is the best thing ever.
You have no
Especially
idea
when you're
how
both
much I am-
children.
You have no idea how much I'm hoping this novel ends like Night Shift Nurses, but it's not going to end that way. And I'm only saying that because I forced myself to watch that on a dare, and I never want to see that garbage again.
I don't even know.
It ended with the main character going on dairy and murdering everyone, and I was like, you know what? I'll take that ending.
Terrible show, great ending.
Yes. Fuck the guy.
I felt bad for them. They were terrified of me, and no one would. I felt bad for them. They were terrified of me and had no will to hurt me. As I arrived at the control center of the ship, I could see the pilots were not piloting anything at all. It was as if this was a setup elsewhere. One of the creatures, who was not horrified by my presence, approached me and tried to communicate with me in their alien language. I could feel what it felt. It was afraid of the second ship, a ship that hid behind a cloak that those on board had no idea I could attack and see right through. I felt sympathy for this creature speaking to me. He reminded me of the special ed boy who drugged me in the bathroom so he could remove the devices the other aliens placed in my brain to attempt stunting my ability. The invisible ship fired a beam towards the prisoner ship that penetrated the force field. Everyone exploded around me. My arms, my legs, upper body. I didn't notice it until it was gone in an instant. I felt myself floating through space, past the field the elite aliens had generated around the now decimated prisoner ship. They shot at me. Why did they have to fill the ship with prisoners? Whatever.
Also, here's a question. If the whole point of the prisoner ship was as a bait to lure him in, we've already established when he's astral projecting, he's essentially invincible. They would know this. This plan doesn't make any sense. You're using them as bait to lure him there, to blow it up, to kill him, but you already know you can't hurt him.
They fired again. They shot at me once more. I felt nothing. They fired again and I continued to advance regardless. These creatures were not stupid. They knew they were all about to die. It took them only seconds before they attempted to evade me. But before they even began to turn, the entire ship was crushed in front of my reforming eyes. As my brain grew around the black rock, the source of who I am, and my body was restored to its full form, I felt a sense of immortality. The weirdest man! The weirdest man. Maybe one day the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have been up here too long. Time to return to class.
That's how you end the chapter, Greg!
That was pointless.
Also, good to know he doesn't have a brain, he's got a black rock.
Is that
Somebody
his heart or
call
his
Black
brain?
Rock Shooter to
Yes.
fire it.
Ugh.
Actually, no, I don't want Black Rock Shooter anywhere near this story. Keep my favorite anime away.
Chapter 16. Goodbye, Washington.
Too bad that's not a self-fulfilling prophecy. I wish he'd leave the goddamn state already.
One last time. Relax, have a drink with one last time. Sorry, had to. Requisite Hamilton reference, let's go.
I was sitting in the nurse's office. I was visited by other students, some I barely knew. Lost in thoughts over what happened beyond the comprehension of most people who were visiting me, I came to a realization. The power I have inside me has turned the entire world into whatever I desire. I am human, despite the rock in my head.
Why does it sound like he's riffing his own book?
I'm
The
human,
rock is-
despite the empty vacuum in my head. All I am is another person. I have selfish thoughts. I am designed to forward my own species. I am programmed to do whatever it takes to survive, and now I'm manipulating the world around me to make everyone love me. But that's wrong.
Oh, God.
There's war and then there's normal life. In war, you do whatever you can to continue your existence. But this preservation of reality itself, I don't want it. Amen. David.
So, I'm not gonna lie, that second paragraph sounded like we were making fun of him. Legit, that just sounded like we were riffing on him, and that's actually in the novel.
David was smiling across the room from me. Two pretty teachers with cleavage showing stood by, waiting for me to address them at the entrance of the room. I looked at all of them and I smiled. Something's about to change, I said. The teacher, with larger breasts than most I had ever seen, replied,
What do you mean, cutie?
and click. Just like that, their smiles faded. Both the teachers were overcome with an expression of confusion and immediately left the room.
Okay, so now he's just copying shit from Flaming Impregnating Transfer Student.
Oh no, I love this.
Got it.
I love this.
David stood, looked me in the eyes, lifted a finger and said,
I don't know what's going on, but I haven't liked you since elementary school. Stay away from me.
he then proceeded to leave the room.
You know what? Good for you, David.
Yeah,
You're the
okay.
only
Best
smart
character.
person in this book.
Piss
Yeah,
Chad
one-
Alex from the first book has nothing on actual Chad David.
Yes.
This felt better. This felt like real life.
Oh my god, I love that. That might be my favorite part of the entire book. Just when one character says, I haven't liked you since elementary school. Stay away from me. That's just amazing.
Not gonna lie though, that whole thing with the teachers describe the breasts, I was like, did you really just quote Flaming Impregnating Transfer Student? Can you make anything original in this? Like, you are literally ripping off really shitty hentais I've watched when I was drunk.
I don't think he's ripping off hentai. I think he's just horny.
Yeah, but like, that is an actual scene from it. And it is not a very good one. I just watch that shit when I'm drunk. Because I'm dumb.
Lucky I'm at the nurse's office, most students had already left. The buses were gone, but my mom was just pulling up outside in her car. She hadn't smiled left since she left Papa.
What?
Wait, when did that happen?
Look, she hadn't smiled very much since she left Papa. He drank alcohol a lot. She didn't like his use of illegal drugs either. At one point, he grabbed her and threw her against the wall, screamed at her. She finally decided to leave him, saying he was to protect us. From what I recall, he was always nice to us.
Yeah, from what I
Cat-
recall too.
Time out! When the fuck did all this happen?
I just imagine. No, you know what I'm imagining? I'm imagining that that when Greg did whatever he did to the teachers, whatever he was doing to teachers, he was subconsciously projecting his hatred of fathers to his mother.
Like, when did any of this happen? Because the dad's just kind of seemed like an awesome dude for most of the story, and then suddenly we've got... What?
My sisters handled the divorce relatively well. My eldest seemed to care the least, probably because she didn't exist.
She's got no lines in the entire story.
None.
We would all have relationship problems in our future. Maybe as a result of our mother leading by example, maybe because of our genetics, or maybe because this is just the way humans are. My mother didn't talk to me much on the drive home. Something had changed in her like it did everyone else. I was curious, so I chose to dive into her mind, silently sitting behind her. There was a negative circular narrative running through her head. She couldn't get her over her eyes exploding all those years ago. Reasonably so. She was
Even
thinking,
though she was perfectly calm when the whole thing was over.
she was thinking about me, how I was the way I felt, and she seemed to want nothing to do with me, despite the fact I was her own flesh and blood.
I mean, I think it was implied that the reason why she got over it is because he wanted her to get over it.
So his brainwashing is only Oh no.
It's not that it's temporary. It's that his brain. It's an on and off switch.
Yeah, which also means Julia is really gonna hate shit when that switch finally gets turned off.
Well, theoretically, it's been turned off already. We'll get to that.
Oh no.
I didn't dive into her mind further than her surface thoughts. I would go back to everyone liking me, to everyone smiling when I enter the room, but that is a fiction. It is a tanning bed instead of a bench. What?
Beach.
Oh.
Tanning bed.
Still doesn't make any sense.
When I get
Yeah, skin cancer, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
When I got home, it was not the same. I was a freak to my family. I was only singing now as I had been in denial before, and because the mutated black hole in my brain, the world denied it with me. When I got home, it was more. I was to call Julia tonight. She was expecting me. Incredibly worried, my hand shook as I lifted the phone. On the other hand, Julia answered almost instantly.
Wait, who's playing Julia again? That was me, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
I'm pretty sure it wasn't me.
you were very.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was.
I was the uninterested girlfriend. Also, can I say for something that I've noticed? The mother has been getting less and less lines throughout the entire novel. I've been having fun playing Karen, and now I can't play her anymore.
Not only that, but the less she likes Greg, the less lines she gets.
Yeah, gee, I wonder why.
I can't remember off the top of my head if I don't remember the middle sister's name, but Kevin, if she gets any more lines.
Alright. Alright. Hi, Daniel.
She happily yelped in a fan. Hey, Julia! I replied.
I really missed you so much. I've been thinking about you all day.
She said genuinely. I was so happy to hear someone still liked me. But maybe she only liked me because she didn't know who I was. Without hesitation, I sent a wave of thoughts her way. They filled her mind and she fell into complete silence. The abductions, the dead animals, the creatures I killed, my mother's eyes. She saw all. I made sure of that.
Yeah, that's a lot to unload on a person all at once. Buddy.
Literally all at once.
Also, a person who's in a statutory rape relationship with you.
Also, I love the way it doesn't say this exactly, but since he's sending over the phone, I imagine her just standing there with a blank expression with a dial-up noise playing in her head.
It's like that scene from Kingsman 2 where she's talking on the phone and she suddenly gets paralyzed.
Julia? I asked. Julie spoke softly.
I just had so many...
I interrupted her. It's me, Julia. I can do anything I want. I want you to know who I am. Julia went silent on the other line. After another moment, she asked,
You controlled all those people? Is that why I am a statutory rapist?
I answered, yes, I did. I've heard people. I've seen and done things beyond this world. Now it was her time to interrupt me.
Did you control me? Why am I the same?
After a brief pause, I said, I don't know. I'm glad you still like me, though. Julie spoke up quickly again.
Come see me. You just hear a knife sharpening in the background.
Yeah, I wish.
Yo, you say that, Swift, but let's be real, that is a legitimate fetish.
Yeah, but there's a difference between kink and mind control.
Yeah.
There's a difference between mind break and mind control. Mind break is fun in fiction. It is not hot in real life, because that is straight up torture.
Yep.
Sitting down the phone, I walked over my family sitting in the front room watching TV. They were living in a condo with 2 bedrooms thanks to the divorce. I'm gonna leave for a bit, I said. A tear fell down my mother's face, clearly still swamped with thoughts from before. She said,
Hang on.
Oh, cool. Kevin does get a line.
Yeah, hang on. I'm trying to get my Karen voice up. You can't just leave when you want. You're 14. Oh, wait, no, that's you. Sorry, I thought that was the mom talking. Never mind.
No, that is the mom.
Yeah.
My line comes after that.
Because Greg can't hit
just
enter.
leave when you want. You're 14.
My middle sister added.
Maybe he should leave. He's a dork.
Seconds later, the sliding door closed before me. My middle sister's head exploded. I kissed my dog goodbye, just as I did, only without my body. I flew off in the air toward Ohio, where Julio was waiting.
Wait, what? I thought Julia was in fucking Idaho. Why is she in Ohio?
No, she was in Ohio.
Yeah,
He probably forgot that they were two different states.
His dad lives in Ohio, and that's
Yeah.
when they went out to visit him. That's when he met Julia.
But when they went to do the visit, it sounded like they just did a quick road trip across state lines, because it takes 49 hours to drive across country. That is not a quick drive.
Okay, but after the whole trip where he visited his dad and Julia, they flew back to Washington. There was a whole chapter about that. The chapter where he killed the special ed kid and then went on that whole mass tour of aliens.
Okay, fair enough. I'm having trouble paying attention to the plot.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard to follow.
Yeah,
I
respect the Onision universe, okay? Respect the Onisiverse.
To be fair, the only reason I have a semblance of what's going on in the story is because of Crimson.
The only thing I remember from that entire chapter is the statutory rape and the fact that he was likely mind controlling her, which made it double rape.
The trip to her took as long as I wanted it to, which is about 15 minutes.
I'm imagining what would happen if something moved from Washington to Ohio with enough velocity for it to only take 15 minutes without leaving the atmosphere.
Yeah, you want to know roughly the speed you'd be going? And, going at the speed of sound, it would still take you 6 hours to cross the country. Not 6 hours, 3 hours. So would take you going at 600 miles an hour, which is the speed of sound. So Mach 1, it would take you 3 hours to cross the country.
Alright, let's presume here that he's an astral being, so he doesn't have wind resistance or anything. How fast is he going?
Probably around Mach 10.
Oh, God.
Meaning he probably would have, if he had any radar signature, would probably have had Stinger missiles following him and every anti-aircraft gun in the country shooting at him.
I bet he lands in Ohio and he turns on TV and the broadcaster's flailing his arms in panic.
Yeah, you'd have a dozen interceptors, several air-to-air missiles, anti-aircraft guns, because there's a lot of military bases and missile silos between Washington and Ohio in a straight line.
We're just reporting on all the damage, and then we cut to Ollie Williams for the weather. How's the weather, Ollie? Everybody dead!
Yeah, he'd be going at least Mach 10. Probably around Mach 20.
I landed outside her window, on a porch, trying to position myself in good lighting, and pose she might think is cute. I spoke to her mind. Julia, look outside! Julia walked up to her window in a towel, and she had just gotten out of the shower. Her facial expression was priceless. She was even more amazed than a human-sized hole. What? She was even more amazed when a human-sized hole formed in her wall seemingly on its own.
Did he just Looney Tunes his way into her room?
Oh yeah!
I was thinking that, or I was thinking Colette from Tales of Symphonia, where she'll just walk through walls and not realize it half the time, and make perfect shaped Colette-sized holes, and I was just like, that's an impressive hole. How do you do that?
Walking toward her, I grabbed her and kissed her.
Wait. Hold on. Sorry. Hey, Julia, guess what? Somebody
Once told me.
Julia walking toward her, I grabbed and kissed her. I was so much taller than her, it was perfect. Oh, God. She went to kiss me back, wrapping her arms around me, which caused her towel to fall. I lifted her up, leaving the perfect hole in the wall behind me. I laid her on her bed. The next hour of my life was spent doing everything I wanted to do, and I knew what she wanted fell in perfect line without any influence whatsoever.
This is so
Wow, what the fuck? The next line.
A bullet passed through my neck and into her forehead.
Huh?
You know, I was being sort of serious with the interceptors and anti-aircraft guns because that would happen, but Jesus fuck!
I forgot this happened. Like, I remember Crimson Rogue mentioning this in his review, but I didn't realize it was this sudden.
So here I am, just making out with my hot girlfriend who's way too old for me when...
Damn,
You don't have a gunshot. You don't have a gunshot on your soundboard.
What?
You have a gunshot on your soundboard.
No, I don't.
Aw.
Well, guys, this was a great read-through. I guess this was a shorter book than I was expecting, but, you know, it could have been worse. Oh, wait, no, it keeps going.
Join us next week when we read Midnight Sun.
No.
Welcome to all pretense of this not being a power fantasy ends.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna dip out because my head's hurting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bye, Ginger.
you do that, man. Take it easy.
See ya, Ginger. And, Jesus Christ. There's a lot of fridging in this.
Oh, yes.
Fridging is a very bad trope. It is a sign of very shitty writing.
Oh, yeah, no. I would say this entire book is actually just this book is a refrigerator full of women.
Yeah.
You know. She was dead. I stared at her as the light left her eyes. I didn't see a red glow. I saw a diverse explosion of light before me. Her essence, her energy leaving her body. Julie had been shot through the neck, bled out, and all I did was stare. The man who shot her, he was wearing a funny costume. He must have thought very highly of himself. I should have known he was behind me, but I was having too much of a Kuma brain. I should have known he was peering through the skylight above us, carefully aiming his weapon to do what he no doubt thought would kill me. I knew why he was here. I could read everything about the situation. I found myself into the smallest detail. He was hired.
Why would he shoot through the skylight rather than the Greg-shaped hole in the wall?
Yeah.
He was hired by a person who was hired by another person who was sent to employ an assassin such as him. Those creatures that took me on their ship, the ones who tested on me, tried to defeat my Blackstone, they really thought that if they sent someone after me who wasn't like them, I would retaliate.
So he was hired by this guy who knew this guy who knew this guy who knew this guy who knew this guy. I'm not gonna do
Also, wait, when did these aliens start being stupid? Because for most of the story, they've actually been very intelligent. Suddenly, all their attempts to kill him are Wile E. Coyote levels of dumb.
No, like, it's even worse than, like, okay, so we've tried blowing him up. We've tried trapping him on a ship and blowing him up. We've tried shooting him with lasers. What if we got a random dude with a gun?
Just shoot the bastard.
You know, the one I'm surprised they haven't done is trap him in an incinerator, burn his entire body off, and take him out and smash the rock.
Time for punishment! The assassin was pinned against the wall, blood leaking from his ears to match his polka dot suit, red and black ridiculous.
Who wears a polka dot suit on an assassination job? What the fuck?
I mean, Betty from Fallout at least wore a check suit, not polka dot.
Julius
What is this, polka dot man?
Did they hire Polka Dot Man to kill him?
We both made the same joke.
I'm more so like focusing on how, because of the way he put in ridiculous, it almost feels like ridiculous is part, like, it's not him describing the suit, it's like the suit has the trait of ridiculous. So I'm imagining it's not just polka dot, but he's, oh my god, you know what this is? He was hot, like, this isn't just any Hitman. This is the guy from the video game series Hitman, wearing the clown suit.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Am I wrong? Does it? Hang on. Wait.
Wait, is he bald? Please tell me he's bald.
Wait, let me check something. Yeah, his clown suit is polka dot.
Yeah, okay, that's a good enough headcanon. I don't.
So apparently the book is so terrible that even Agent 47's trying to end it.
Julius moved in the slowest of motion, as if she was sticking around to look into her own eyes, to see her own dead body, just like you hear in all those stories. We love looking at ourselves as we leave, almost like one final goodbye. There were more
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can tell Onisun's not very good at Hitman because non-contract target killed. You don't get 5 Hitmans with that.
We love looking at ourselves as we leave, almost like one final goodbye. There are creatures all over Earth just like the ones who took me. Only these ones had in a human skin. It was time for there to be none! My body collapsed as I ejected out of it. Time froze again. I imagined a beam of energy coming out of the back of my neck, my spine, my tailbone, my feet. I forward thrusted through the wall, shooting across highways. Pelvic thrusted through the wall.
Pelvic thrust! Woo!
What is this? A fucking 90s fighting game where women just hit thrust through the fucking wall and shit like it's a massive attack to hit someone with your ass?
Through wind areas across the ocean, I traveled to every green light I could see and feel for thousands of miles. The green light I programmed, or otherwise designed in my mind to signify the visitors, all they have to do is get close enough to see their face for them to die. I could have simply imagined them perish from across the planet, but I wanted to see. I wanted to be close. I wanted to experience their deaths with my own presence.
While I listen to you bleed and smell you die.
There were creatures in the bodies of children. Their adopted mothers screamed at the loss of them. Some of them had fathers who cried. Some of them had no fathers at all. Other creatures are businessmen. In fact, most of them were. I pulled some out of buildings. I drowned some of them in their own bathtubs. The rest I simply separated head from body. If it occurred in real time, their deaths took me 17 hours and 47 minutes to accomplish. However, this was in another realm of existence. Thus, I was back before the assassin could even let out a single scream of pain for my intentional tightening of pressure around his entire body.
Jesus fucking Christ. This dude, why is he not locked up?
I wanted my body upright by the time I got back, and there I was, standing lifeless next to Julia in our blood-soaked bed, waiting for my soul to return. As I faced through the wall, I walked in my body and lurched toward the man on the wall, holding his throat, feeling his pulse blink down my arm. I spoke to him. I want you to see how pointless when you have done it. He looked at me with a smile in his eyes, showing his teeth in a half grin on his face as blood seeped out of his mouth. He gurgled.
Translation: I don't fear you.
I replied, "Gee, yeah, stop being dead!
Also, can we take into credit here how this is probably the world's best fucking hitman for one reason? He flew from Washington to Ohio randomly on a whim in 15 minutes, somehow not dying, traveling at Mach 20 speed.
Oh my god, I didn't think of that.
And then, while he's fucking his statutory rapist girlfriend, he gets sniped through his skylight, where this guy couldn't have had more than 20 minutes to prepare for this.
I mean, unless the alien sent him to assassinate the girlfriend.
That's the only way this would make sense. Otherwise, it's like, what is the fucking hitman got a transporter?
He's being hooked. I was gonna say he was hired by aliens, but no, he was hired by someone who was hired by someone to hire. That was hired by the aliens.
But it's still like, they would have had to know he was going to Ohio to set up this kind of kill.
The man looked at me trying to hold back his confusion, masking it with false confidence. Julia sat up in her bed. The light of her soul filled the room was gone. Without much thought, I returned her to this world and given her all the information she needed to know.
Oh god, I can't have my character be dead, can I?
Ugh.
Julia blinked a few times and looking at me and holding the man against the wall, blurry eyes.
You're naked.
I replied, "It's not just your blood and it's not just your blood that I'm drenched in, darling."
That's so hot. And now when you read this, I need you to do your best Aaron Hansen impression.
All right,
Who's voicing the assassin?
I am, because he's being choked. Translation.
Oh, yeah.
What is this?
The
What
assassin,
is this?
the
What is
assassin,
my
the assassin screamed. I replied, "I just want you to see that you accomplished nothing, and your players are dead." A look of desperation crossed his eyes as the walls melted behind him. I didn't want to kill him, be brutally honest. I only want to kill what I fear. The creatures from another world, they had the means to kill me. I knew I'd have to commit further genocide against them to truly protect myself. But this human, all humans, there's nothing for them to do but Nia.
bitch?
Oh, yes, so hot, committing
So-
genocide.
So I want
Somebody
to point
call
out now
Eva Braun.
that Greg Self-Insert has traveled around the world brutally committing genocide against an alien species, not just sending someone else to do it, no, not just remotely doing it, no, watching the light leave their eyes as he brutally killed some of them, drowning some of them, strangling some of them, throwing some off of high places, or just outright popping their heads off their bodies, even of fucking children. And he did this.
That's what I said. Yes, it's so hot. Call Eva Braun.
And he did this with a smile. He was happy to do this. And he gets the person who actually killed his girlfriend, was like, nah, I don't want to kill him. That would make me a bad person. But I do want them to worship me. And also, I still gotta kill literally all the other aliens.
Yeah, he just committed a Holocaust and then spared the one non-Jew.
This is literally his self-insert. He thinks this is cool.
Yeah.
I'm dying, Squirtle.
I want to die.
You know, there are times I want to know what goes through the mind of someone who could write garbage like this. But then there are times where I'm really glad I can't.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to know the level of fucked up you have to think that this is cool. Or that being a hero that stops a school shooter is cool. Or shit that makes you write any of this garbage.
As the man passed through the walls, soaring hundreds of miles to me at thousands of miles per hour, I made sure he stayed alive. and then he landed in a swamp near nothing familiar to him. I spared this man, but left him broken. If he survived at this point, that would be up to him.
Yeah, okay. You sent him through the wall at hundreds of miles per hour.
Thousands of
Thousands.
miles.
Thousands.
Let's-
Yeah. This guy dead.
Well, no, it says that he kept this guy alive. I'm more so curious.
I don't fucking care. This guy dead.
Oh, no. What's going to end up killing him is the fact that although he's been kept alive, he said nothing about preserving his skeletal structure. So,
Alright, I am just doing
So yeah, he just left him to lie there in a swamp, completely jellified until he dies of dehydration.
or exposure.
Okay, so I'm doing mock calculations here. To be thousands of miles per hour, to the point that I just rounded it up to like 11,000 miles an hour. Do you know how much 11,000 miles an hour is?
How much?
Mach 15!
Actually, something else I just thought about. This guy might be alive, but every single flesh and body creature that he passes is going to liquefy.
If we're being more generous, 9,134,485 miles per hour is Mach 12. Most human bodies disintegrate at Mach 3.
And again,
without
even,
specialized
even if
suits.
I were to grant that his body is being preserved and he's gonna land in pain but totally whole and alive, the damage caused by the shockwave is what I'm thinking about.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've actually got a mock calculator up right here. I'm typing in rough estimates of the numbers he's saying to just get rough ideas. Yeah, to do thousands of miles, he's going anywhere between Mach 5 and Mach 12. Anything above Mach 12 is tens of thousands of miles an hour. That would have more destructive impact than the entirety of the fight scenes from Man of Steel that did not involve the gravity gun. You know, the parts where they're punching each other through buildings, it would be more destructive than that.
Yeah.
Because you're flying at Mach 12 at ground level.
As the we found, as the blood evaporated nothing, as the floor cleaned itself and its furniture we broke reassembled, as the bullet hole in the glass above us closed, as the sheets on the bed made themselves, Julia spoke to me.
What can you not do?
I replied quickly, yeah! She laughed.
Move, Danny L.
I continued, there's no need for us to talk anymore. Walk to me. I lifted my hand, and Julia walked forward to press her forehead against it, totally enthusiastic about doing such a thing.
I like to imagine she just walked, bumped into his outstretched hand, and just kind of kept walking in place for a moment.
I'm just picturing at this point that ever since he met Julia, she's had no free will, and it's basically a mind control wizard controlling her through yandere-like actions.
Fully aware inside her head.
And she must scream.
Yeah, she has no control, and that's literally the only way this makes sense, because he is acting like an anime yandere, and it's kind of terrifying. What can you not do?
An
Lose
anime
you brought
yandere
her.
with actual god powers.
So, Yuno Gasai.
I don't know who that is, but I'll take your word for it.
Future Diary. The entire twist is that the psycho yandere girlfriend is actually God from the previous world. She rewound time to keep her boyfriend alive because she couldn't revive him. And went through the whole killing game all over again, and then planned on doing it again and again and again and again and again because she couldn't save him, so she just kill him, go back in time, romance him, go back in time after he died, and rinse and repeat, destroying the world in the process.
With
Wrong
Julia
room.
breathing softly as my skin warmed hers, I formed a new stone. It grew in the center of her mind and glowed of another color, blue. Tears poured from Julia's eyes as she whimpered.
What the fuck is happening?
Did he just give her a mind stone?
Yep.
Yes. But it's blue. Wouldn't that be the space stone? Thank you all. I'll be back next week for more Marvel references.
So we've got 2 people with mother boxes. Fuck.
I think... Whose line is that? Who is saying what is this?
Julia?
Hang on, I'm trying to find my
As-
place. Sorry, I had to stand up to lock my door because someone walked into my room while we were doing this.
Yeah.
Julie's eyes whispered. She whimpered. What is this?
I replied in her mind, sadly. She looked up to me as I dropped my hand and listened to the words. I spoke within the walls behind her eyes. I cannot lose you ever!
You lying, okay?
As Julia realized I made her invulnerable to harm, she smiled in a manner that seemed scared, sad, and hopeful at once. I grabbed Julia's hand, gazed deeply into her, and guided her back to the bed to finish what we started.
For the fans, what's going through Julia's mind is, fuck! I can't die! And I'm stuck with this psycho!
Not even the sex is good!
His dick is too tiny, he's only 14!
Fun fact, apparently Greg has a carrot dick. Like a baby carrot dick. I don't know, it's just a rumor.
Wait. Greg in real life has a micro dick.
I don't know if it's a micro dick, but apparently he has a small
If
penis.
it's a carrot-sized, fully erect, that's a micro dick, because it'd be 2 inches. Jesus fuck.
I'm only reporting what I've heard.
Let's just put it this way. When people say carrot, they usually mean 2 inches because they mean baby carrot, which means micro penis.
I think
That would explain some things.
I think a world in which Greg has a micro penis is a better world.
Yeah. God.
The next morning, we disappeared together, spending most of our days in the woods, talking to each other in silence about everything we could. The majority of our conversation revolved around our love for each other. I, above all, realized love was a product of biology, a design to encourage us to reproduce. But it was something I treasured, and chose not to remove from either of us.
That is all love is. That is literally all love is. Hey, Popcorn, the ace in the room. Hey, Popcorn, I have something to tell you.
Yes, what is that?
I legitimately think Onisan is an incel because the way he views things
He has
reminds
2 children.
me. It doesn't change the fact you can still have the incel mentality.
True.
Incel mentality is the same as the pickup artist mentality.
Yep, that's fair.
Sex sucks, but we do it because we must, because we need to quote Roosh V, deliver and release the genetic package.
Oh, we have a
I found one of his books at a thrift store one day, and I read a few pages just out of sheer boredom. No one has ever made sex sound so disgusting that I literally was like, this book could probably make me never want to have sex again. Jesus Christ.
We have a Kepler, everybody. We have a Kepler.
Yes.
Who's a good boy?
That's a good.
I wish I could email all of you just a pet from Kepler.
I'm going to disturb my cat, who is currently sleeping on the bed, and pull him into my lap because I need something to purge this filth that makes Roosh V look like a talented writer. And that is not a compliment, because Roosh V wants to legalize rape, so that's just that is just how bad this is.
I have nothing to say to that.
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Very much.
Yeah.
Julia,
This wouldn't even be funny with a what you say meme. Wow, that's an old one.
Julia would have our child one day. She insisted on me and I felt her desire. But another desire existed. There are people around the world, just like her. People, if I had met instead of her, I could have cared for in a similar way. There were innocent people. They were lost children, and I was doing nothing for them despite giving all the power I could have.
Oh no, please don't go cult leader. Please don't go cult
Society
leader.
was like a book full of images saturated with gore and chaos. I could stomach the cover, but the moment I tried to open a single page, I felt defeated, hopeless. However, I remained a teenager, and by that I mean a 40-year-old in a 13-year-old's body. While I can take action to preserve my own existence, and that of those I love, I didn't know where to begin when it came to order of society. I have no idea how to decide who lives and who dies when they are not active threat to anyone. And that was it. I decided that to truly justify taking human life, they had to be an active threat to another human life. I had to allow the world to continue mostly unaltered, but save enough people to make a significant difference every hour.
I actually think that isn't a bad way of, like, if you had this kind of power, I actually don't think that's a bad way of looking at things. So, Greg, you get 1 point. You're still, I don't know how far in the negatives you are, but you are coming back out of it, but you get 1 point.
You have no hope of returning for Final Jeopardy.
Hang on a
at this point.
second. What? Alright, I'm in the middle of something. I can't.
Oh,
Sorry?
that's a mood.
No, it's just an order I ordered came in and they keep forgetting I'm in the middle of doing this when they come over.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Um,
I can't believe he said the very thing healers say mostly is a threat to get people to back the fuck off.
Also, I want to point out that while this is his outlook for humans, when it comes to the aliens, fuck all of them.
Yeah.
We were sitting outside a cabin looking on a massive private lake. We didn't belong there. It was not ours, but there was not much to say anything belonged to anyone. The cabin was abandoned for years. My thought of my place in the world plagued me just like most any human. What was my purpose?
Oh yeah, Swift
And-
is. Sorry, I was just going to say that Swift brought up a pretty good point just a couple paragraphs ago. He was basically insinuating that his girlfriend is completely replaceable.
Yeah, actually, that is true.
I know this line is mine. I just need a second for my brain to catch up.
Yep.
Because I feel like we left it 6 chapters ago, sitting in one of the Mach 15 runs. So you're gonna play hero?
Oh, you said, okay.
Julia spoke for the first time in weeks with her own voice. I replied, "Why are you speaking loud? It's boring." She answered,
Oh my god, Jesus, that is one hell of a run-on sentence. It's fun sometimes, but I don't know. I do know. Okay, it's supposed to be I dunno, but it's ONNO, so
I do know.
I don't.
It's fun sometimes. Wait, it's fun sometimes, but I.
Oh no!
Oh no!
We'll just do that. Just give me a second because you keep making me laugh, which is actually making it harder to read.
Okay.
Sorry.
But I don't know. It seems like no matter what you do, the world will just keep being that way. You have the ability to change it all, but you don't know if a world without without darkness would be really living. So you have a choice to either end it all or let the shadows fade or...
I cut her off. Tell me piggy. She responded.
lobotomize everyone?
I sat there silently. No
I
more
can
mental
reprogram-
illness. I'm gonna kill everyone, I said. She replied.
So, no more therapy, no more medication or disorders for anyone.
I smiled and said, I don't know anyone who wants to be damaged.
Fuck you, Greg.
She added,
Is being damaged what makes us us? I believe it's supposed to say isn't, but she says is. So, I'm just going to assume it's her brainwashing.
Also, I'm just gonna make a quick joke real quick. That was redundant. Wow. I can reprogram it all. I have the technology.
I was at a loss. I had a loaded gun without a trigger. This was not something I considered at all. Other people's free will?
Fuck that.
See, here's the thing that bugs me about how his typo here is. It's very clear from the from the end of the sentence, it was supposed to be isn't being damaged what makes us us. But because it says is being damaged what makes us us, she's asking him if being damaged is if it's okay to be damaged, wherein before she's saying, isn't that what makes you you?
Yeah.
It's a completely different question because he forgot the fucking NT.
After extensive thought, I decided to change the world in a way that would allow everyone to remain themselves. Only the consequences for our actions shifted. I heard the hole in reality standing before me. I looked into the design of it all and got to work manipulating the skeleton of our society. I strengthened potential victims of crimes. I designed defense mechanisms, enhanced aspects of the human body to strike back in a natural yet bold manner. Fingernails became strong as steel. There's no longer an imbalance between the genders. Children were given the natural inclination to know the locations of their parents and vice versa, so they could never be lost or adopted effectively. I trained the
And
world
so
like
child abusers would always know where their child is. For fuck's sakes, Greg. Jesus fuck.
Yeah, manicures are gonna be a bitch. Like, imagine, like, every
Yeah.
time you get a mani and pedicure, you're, like, the person breaks out an angle grinder.
No, they're not breaking out an angle grinder. They're breaking out the jaws of life. It's like, get the bolt cutters from the back, Manny.
I trained the world like the lines of code in a video game. Training hit points, stamina, strength. I redesigned our species. I would say evolution was failing us, and I was a correction. However, I was a product of evolution.
Wait a minute.
The time to return to the society I transformed had come.
Okay, so I know that at this point he is way more powerful than the character, but this story is going full Empress Teresa at this point.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is... Actually, no, and the reason I say no is, Greg is acting more proactive here, and Empress Teresa was more reactive until the very end of the book.
Yes, but when you say proactive, let's be fair here, we're talking about eugenics and genocide.
I'm not saying this is a good thing.
I mean, Empress Teresa went on vacation while they were trying to figure out how to stop the world from ending.
Sure.
Greg here is just completely abducting people's free will.
Yeah, I'd say at this point I'd rather Empress Teresa over Greg. You know, alright, have anyone here read Animorphs before?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the chapters where it's from a Yerk victim's perspective, where it's basically them trapped inside their own bodies, screaming away, and no one could hear anything they're saying?
Yeah.
That's how I'm picturing Julia at this point. I'm just picturing she's imprisoned in the rock, and a modified soul is what's actually doing the talking and thinking, and she's just really trapped in there with no free will, screaming to the gods to get her away from this asshole.
Yeah, that's an apt comparison.
Now I'm wanting to read Animorphs because it was a significantly superior series to this garbage.
That's a very low bar.
Yeah, well, Animorphs is also about child soldiers and stuff that actually taught people shit. Specifically the horrors of war.
Yeah, it was a very, very deep deconstruction of the whole wake up, go to school, save the world shtick.
Mm-hmm. And gave you a peek into the insurgent mindset, too.
Feel good?
Yeah.
Alright, so now it's time to watch Spider-Man Homecoming?
Oh, if only. If only.
Yeah, I could totally go for J. Jonah Jameson being basically what's his name from InfoWars.
J. Jonah Jameson doesn't want your damn lemons, he wants pictures of Spider-Man.
Fuck, who's that guy from InfoWars now? Alex Jones. Yeah, I would prefer J. Jonah Jameson as Alex Jones right now.
Okay.
I'm just brushing the kitty while I read now. Doing something useful with my life in the meantime as I read this.
Please tell me this is almost done.
We're on chapter 20. We're on chapter 18 of like 26, I think.
It says 21 at the top of the docs.
Yes, this goes up to 21, and then there's another file.
Oh no.
I think it's only 26 chapters. The last.
I was hoping it ended at 21.
A famous self-denuding. Such clouds touched my skin, but I couldn't feel a thing. Julia said.
I'm so cold, Daniel.
As she held my hand, floating thousands of feet above the ground right next to me, I replied, "Hey, man, yeah." She smiled quickly.
It's gone completely.
He just brought a heater with him.
Yeah, no, and that's when she began to asphyxiate.
Here's the question. What the fuck happened with his family? Because they told him, no, you can't leave. Then all of a sudden his body collapses. He astral projects out in a new physical body. Mach 15s his way across the country. And I'm just picturing his mom and sister just staring at a comatose corpse laying on the ground now.
And nothing of value was lost.
No, but I'm imagining how traumatized that poor Karen is.
I want to... Oh God, she just goes up to God. I want to speak to your manager. Unfortunately, that is going to be extremely relevant to later in the book.
Yes, it is.
We are going to be able to speak to God's manager.
I smiled at her. I asked, "Where do you want to go?" Juliet replied,
Anywhere we should visit my home at some point?
"My ability to make her comfortable, to change her physical body so she could feel whatever she desired, to make her dreams come true, her happiness was mine."
What? Hang on.
My ability to make her comfortable, to change her physical body so she could feel whatever she desired, to make her dreams come true, her happiness was mine. That was an unnecessary tangent.
So, Greg is now one of the demons from Corruption of Champions. Got it. Wow, this would be so much better if this was a Corruption of Champions novel.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't be able to stream it.
We'd be censoring every other line.
Apparently there's a save for work version out there.
Yeah, also, there was an entire, sorry about this tangent, but it's like, it is kind of funny, but there's an entire D&D session Phenoxo ran in the Corruption of Champions world, and it is on YouTube. And they're all playing different characters in that world, and it involves all the NPCs from the first one, not the second one. So it's actually, yeah, there's a pretty fun stream they did of a D&D set in that world.
Huh. I wonder if it's age restricted.
No, it wasn't. They made sure to have no sex scenes in it.
Oh wow. Then what was
Yeah.
Then what was the point?
Because it's a fun world. People actually like the world.
Oh, that's fair.
And it was also to raise, it was one of their trans D&D streams, because they have a lot of trans community members, so to raise money for their individual things, they'll do D&D streams set in COC's world. And this one, like one of the major NPCs they kept running across was Erda.
Alright,
Without hesitation, I threw us toward Julia's house. Initially, Julia's body kind of dangled behind mine, and she had no ability to keep up, as I soared through the air. Flying thousands of miles per hour was not simple, even with the ability I gave her. There were a couple of points where Julia's pants fell down, but I simply fabricated new ones. What? At one
And intentionally made them all 4 sizes too big for her, so it would keep happening.
At one point, she said,
If you can just make them with your mind, why not make pants that don't fall when we fly? Jesus fuck! Stop for doing our job, Odie-san!
I laughed and did not address it.
What? Suspenders? What are those?
I love how, like, not only does he address it, but he actually doesn't address it. She's like, hey, why don't you give me pants that won't fall down? And he's like, lol, I get to see your panties.
Also what Swift said.
God, it's just a skeleton forming, it's like, it starts as Julia that gets stripped to a skeleton and reforms, or just rinse and repeat. That's metal as fuck.
Julia's parents weren't too fond of me. I snatched their daughter away without notice or hint of our destination. The unarmed...
You're also 14.
Also, she was legally an adult, and I was in high school.
Yeah, no, she wasn't 17, she was 18.
Yeah.
The unannounced return couldn't possibly be received well. Landing softly in her driveway, Julia immediately pulled her
Huh? Were you saying something?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I think I was just, like, vaguely heard myself in the background. My bad.
Landing softly in the driveway, Julia immediately pulled her shoelace out of her shoe and tied it around her waist. I smirked and asked, "How you gonna keep your shoes on when we fly?" She replied quickly,
We're not flying.
interrupting Julia, and actually passed my shoulder, smacking on the ground a number of feet behind me. A scream sounded off from Julia's house. It was her father, with his wrinkled up face and angry I almost said his angry elbows. I'm gonna go with that. And his angry elbows. He yelled.
Alright.
Let Popcorn do this one.
Yeah, okay, never. But I don't have time to find a funny voice mod thing. Okay.
Do you want me to do it?
Does the mom have any lines?
I think so. It wouldn't surprise me if she didn't, but...
She's a woman in Oni-san's book. Unless they're fucking him, they don't get a line.
Wait, but what about his sister?
Okay, I think the mom does have lines.
Okay, I'll do the father then.
You're a dead man!
Where's my daughter?
He stopped out and immediately lost his footing when Julia yelled,
Hello, Daddy. Please
the man
save me.
tripped to his knees right in front of me. He was...
Damn it, Norton. Go, stop it. I know I'm protected, Norton. Go away. Norton, stop! I know! Go away!
Uninstall Norton. It's a spamware.
No, I have the paid version because my dad pays for it, and I'm part of the family, so I get the paid version. Paid version's okay, but it's spammy.
He was incredibly choked up and ran over there, hugging her and saying all the things dads say when magical boys find their daughters to far off places without warning and later randomly returning to them.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
if he's
that's an everyday occurrence.
if he says magical boys, now I want the fucking transformation sequence and the talking sentient rod. Give me this. You cannot reference a genre of anime if you're not gonna commit.
Now
Fucker!
I just want to see Greg end up with a Sailor Moon sequence.
Greg getting hit, instead of turning into a preppy schoolgirl, he gets reversed and turns into a magical Shota.
Even better, he turns into a pile of shit.
Yeah, but let's face it, knowing Greg, a magical Shota would fit right in his style of writing.
I'll be right back.
Oh god. I saw what you meant by this is weird, but it's like, my brain is literally melting out of my ears trying to process it.
It gets so much weirder. This is like the bottom of the weird pit. When I say we get to speak to God's manager, I mean it.
As long as I get to do the Karen voice.
We'll find a way.
After realizing his daughter was in on running away for a while, and that no one was tricked her father into losing an unwilling daughter, he welcomed me into his house. He didn't apologize for throwing an axe at me, but you could see the apology in his forehead wrinkles when he changed his tone, and at his elbows. Julia's mother was equally happy to see her daughter, and although, fortunately for me, she saw her daughter first before recognizing that I was the one in the room. I'm sure I would have been amazed with, which I would feel for at least a second before reprogramming that aspect of my body as well. There was cornbread cooking in the oven, a new dish in the rack above with a salad, and raspberry lemonade to help us flush it down. At dinner, Julia's father had a lot to say about the changes I made to the world. Not knowing how I played any part in it, he spouted out, "So, women have teeth and like vaginas now. Hey, Daniel!" In the middle of drinking my lemonade, I tried to swallow without my hiccup. Clearing my throat, I replied, "Yes, I thought it made sense. Yes, I thought it would make sense." Her dad looked concerned. "What do you mean?" I replied sincerely. "I mean, men have their swords. Women should have their blades too, right?" Julius had to give me a sarcastic look.
"Oh, you're one of those."
I giggled slightly and said, "One of," and quickly went silent mid-sentence. In that moment, I saw it was mine without even inquiring. I saw the woman he had. He had even attacked Julia's friend when she was younger.
Yep, we're going there. We're going back there.
Oh, I came back just in time.
I think this is the last sexual mention of sexual assault in the book. Maybe.
Greg, you need to stop watching better horror movies and ripping them off. I don't want to think that the entire world's vagina population is teeth. Seriously, that is more horrifying than people think. You'd have to brush them down there.
Oh god, I'm just imagining now, like, you go to your gynecologist who they also need a degree in dentistry.
Yeah, and you're just sitting there and they've got the little wire hook in there and they're just like scraping it.
Have you been douching and flossing frequently?
Okay, let's get the sexual assault over with.
He was a serial predator, and the moment I realized what he was, he dropped dead, face falling flat in his noodles. And Julia's mother screamed in horror. I sat there, frozen, angry at myself, angry at society, angry at the world that was broken, angry at noodles. I changed the future, but the people from the past, they all remained regardless of the things they had done. Snapping on my thoughts, I saw Julia staring at me, tears running down her face, eyes turning red with a mixture of sadness and anger. She saw everything about her father I had just seen. She invaded my mind as soon as she realized I was not reacting to her father's death whatsoever. She projected her thoughts in my head seconds after I made eye contact with her. Julia did not want me there. She understood what I did, but she also just lost her father and couldn't process anything with me around. Upon realizing I was not welcome, I can't imagine why, using the black rock of my skull, I materialized a dark coffin, one any family would be proud of. Seconds passed and the coffin was complete, so I dropped in the middle of their front room. Inside the coffin, I left enough money for more to compensate the household for the loss of the primary breadwinner.
Wow! We've got to add sexism to this shit too. God, fucking damn it!
He just drops a fucking coffin in the middle of their house full of money. And
Oh, whoops! I killed your dad. Well, here's.
Also, I'm just going to assume your dad's the primary breadwinner since I've clearly not really spent that much time with them. And the writer is also a child molester, yet somehow hates rapists. Logic.
Just poof, coffin. Hey, it's better than your dad.
Also, do you know the difference between a coffin and a casket?
What?
Okay, a casket is what most graveyards use nowadays. It's the rectangular box that's all even sides.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even top and bottom, and then even sides. A coffin is the traditional thing that everyone pictures, where it's the hexagonal one, where it's got angled sides. So he specifically said he dropped a coffin, not a casket, which also means they've got to go to a specialized graveyard that accepts coffins, because most people stopped using coffins because of the extra space they took up in limited burial plots. Fun fact, I like watching Ask a Mortician, and she goes into great detail about a lot of this stuff.
I mean, given the shitbag the man was, maybe Julia's mom can turn the casket into a bed and become like a goth queen or some shit.
Well, yeah, but he did specifically say coffin, which means it's not a casket, it's a coffin. So you've got a vampire thing.
Okay, I just again, only this time with a coherent command.
Call an ambulance! God, I can't find my phone. Call now.
And I replied, "It's on the way." However, I did not use enough phone. I simply sent a signal to the brains of the closest medics. But I knew it would not help. I was simply doing it for the mother. She did not need to know the truth of any of this. Such information can cause a person who dedicated their whole life to fraud to fall into a deep depression, possibly leading them to take their own life. It was a tragic enough already, even though his daughter had to know the truth about her father. Walking out the front door, I spoke to Julia's mom. "I'm sorry. Tell me I'll return when you care for me, whatever." But when my words hit her mind, it was like a car falling in water. First an impact, apparent rejection, followed by so sinking absorption of everything that made contact.
So does this mean that he was like, I'm sorry, I'll return when you call for me. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you, I'm going home.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Julia never has to show up for the rest of the novel, because she was fortunately made immortal, really. Oh god, she was made immortal against her will. Nothing is more horrific than that.
Every random dimension.
Like, that is a lot of violation.
I sprinted through the trees, the bushes, even fences, breaking literally everything in my path. Houses, Horses, people, deer.
I'm just imagining that, like, there's just, Daniel-sized holes in walls. Like, again, like Looney Tunes.
I'm just picturing him doing Naruto running through the fences.
The buddy.
My shoes would fall apart. My shoes would fall apart, only be reformed again and again. I would simply design clothing for myself using the universe's code that would result in no deterioration of anything I wear despite the stress I subjected it to. But my clothes help me keep track of how much damage I would be enduring if I was something even remotely close to human anymore.
You know, something I noticed is that literally everything Daniel has done up to this point has had a purpose. Oh. Alright, I just lost video feed.
Oh no.
Okay, the camera feed is frozen, so we're moving to main without camera.
Great.
It just my camera just randomly disconnected. Thanks, Windows. But everything Daniel's done up to this point has always had, like, a purpose. It's never been, like, a 15-year-old being, I have amazing powers, this is awesome. Everything has been, like, I am doing this so I can get to point B, and then I can go to point C, and then I can go to point D. Everything has had an explicit order and reason to it.
Badly designed order and shit, but it's still, like, yeah, he's managed to go point A to point B. Now he's waffling.
I wonder if I can... Hang on, let me try something.
Why don't...
Activate? No, okay, yeah, that's just... That's just gonna be a frozen me. So yeah, we're going back to this.
Why don't you try restarting the stream real quick?
Then that would end the recording as well. It's no biggie.
Alright.
No, actually, no. We're just gonna have this frozen picture of me in the corner.
What?
Why not? Yeah, no, this is fine. Yeah, no, the stream is on fire. This is fine. Okay, where was I? Shit. I'm a professional. Shut up. Yeah, no. You're right. You're right. We're going main without camera. This is indeed fine. Okay, there we are.
Overwhelmed in no, I did that. The more I ran, the more I realized I didn't know where to go. All I could think about was Julia, back at her house with her mother, locked in sorrow, with the father laying in the noodles. Without thinking about it, I stopped mid-step, landing in the middle of a lake. I sank, so distracted in my thoughts that I didn't bother to fight it. I couldn't see anything underwater. I didn't like that feeling, so I made it clear and pure. I could see for hundreds of feet now. So many things cast aside. Boots, boats, and endless trash. Thinking about Julia, in the cold depths of the water, I felt warmth, and there was Julia drowning to death. I was becoming hopeless. I knew I could change that in an instant, but to do so would be to lose meaning. To become someone who truly has nothing to lose, and no one to love. I was past, and as I thought about where I should go. What? The point would even be of me going anywhere, and I decided I want to return to the life I knew. My curiosity and sense of obligation to my family seemed to be my only remaining ties to my identity. I need to return to my home. Landing in my mom's rock and dirt yard behind our condo, I walked in the sliding door. The locks opened for me without much consideration. No door was truly closed to me. Mom, Joanna! I yelled. That would be easier for me if I simply programmed them to be where and to be when. But that would take away the whole purpose of my life. I didn't want to bring myself back to the abomination I found myself living in while recovering in the nurse's office. My sister yelled,
Daniel?
and ran up to me. Hey!
Hey, dork.
What
are you...
Hey, I said as she hugged me. I added, Mom, is it him? And before she could answer, I had burp. All you know I needed. She replied,
She doesn't want to see you anymore, dork.
But I put my finger to silence her, and I essentially had downloaded everything I missed. I said, So Mom's been dang around. You're lucky, huh? Joanna replied,
So you're still freaked. Cool.
That night, my sister and I played video games. Or at least tried. She quit shortly after saying she was bored. It was typical among siblings. Both wanted to hang out with the idea of their brother and sister. Neither wanted to hang out with the actual person who was their brother and sister.
Yeah, fuck you, Craig. That isn't how everyone works. Maybe, just say maybe it's the fact that you're a literal god, and trying to play a video game with a god is probably extremely boring.
Yeah, also, you don't sound like you're a pleasant person to be around regardless.
What makes you say that? He sounds very lovely.
I don't know how this guy got YouTube famous.
I know. The banana.
He's a banana?
Song. He made
right.
He made a viral video where he screamed "I'm a banana" over and over, and that made him the internet famous. That's it.
Note to self: we should go back in time and just make a video screaming "we're a banana" before he does.
That would have been so much better.
Not really. I was almost YouTube famous for a while, and I did not like the popularity my channel was getting. It was a little unnerving.
I mean, for the world, it would be better for him to not be, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
My mom returned late that night. She was partially drunk when she saw me, but sober enough to know who I was and that I was gone for some time. Staring at me for only a moment as she came through the door, without words, she walked off to her room. My mom still hadn't gotten over her eyes and what I'd done to them. She hadn't gotten over anything I'd done. I left the condo immediately after. I have always hated being where I am unwanted. If people are better off without me, then I'm better off gone. My eldest sister came out as I left saying,
Daniel, come back! I miss you! I love you so much!
But she doesn't exist.
Okay, wait. But every time we talk about the sister, I just think about that clip from Chowder where Truffles comes in, like, hello, what about me? No, you're not in this episode.
You know, I'm just thinking of how pointless this entire last half of this chapter was. He goes home because he wants to go back to the life he was living. Literally leaves the next paragraph.
Yeah.
I mean...
That was pointless.
Like, I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to show that the life he once lived, like, isn't something he can go back to. But the fact of the matter is, you didn't really establish any of that. Like, you spent, like, a half a second going over it, got bored, and carried on. Where was I?
The next destination I went to was where I spent most of my childhood. The creek. The small square house, the abduction site. Landing in the middle of my old yard, I could see my mom's house still had not sold. It was a problem I could fix. It was a problem I could fix in an instant. The documents signed themselves to the sale of the house. The money transferred itself, and just like that, it belonged to me.
That was easy.
Before walking into the moonlit wood home, I noticed a red glow coming from the creek. I'm also imagining like the company selling the home was like, what? How did all these papers get? Dude, do you see who signed this? We aren't complaining. Before walking into the moonlit wood home, I noticed a red glow coming from the creek. The quiet hum of death filled my ears. I could feel the other side call me. Curiosity can see my mind. In the morning, I would begin digging up the bodies, but tonight I would lay on my foam mattress next to the raging furnace, alone in my tiny old room in the tiny old house. Oh my god.
So they left all that stuff there when they moved?
Even if they didn't, even if he just manifests them with his god powers, so he has god powers, and he decided, I'm gonna summon my old shitty mattress, put it on its old shitty hammock in the shitty old washroom with the shitty old furnace. Oh, Greg, you strange little man.
Huh.
Before walking into the moonlit wood home, I noticed a red glow coming from the creek. The quiet
But
hum-
you already
Oh,
you
yeah,
already
right,
read
right,
this.
yeah.
We're done.
Oh yeah, Golden Man. All right? We've been going for about 2 hours. Are you guys still good?
Yeah, but we should probably top up our drinks and use the bathroom quick.
Yeah, all right. Yep. We're gonna take a quick break to top off everything. We'll be back soon. BRB, everybody.
Ugh.
And we're back. Oh, wait, no, that's frozen. We're back! Yeah, I went back to the one with the camera, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's broken. All right. So welcome back, everybody. We are continuing with Chapter 19, The Golden Man.
FBI, open up!
Not now, guys. Later. All right.
Jesus Christ, every time you do that, it scares the shit out of me.
Sorry.
It's funny. It's just it's funny, but it's like I'm laughing because I keep having this reaction.
All right.
I woke up alone to the sound of birds chirping outside. I can hear the water from the creek. If I wanted to, I could even hear my grandmother's breathing next door if I really tried. I could also feel the radiant glow of death lining our creek bed. It was time to lose myself. My word, I was losing my hunger, losing my urges, growing beyond whatever I was before, day by day. I'm not even sure I even cared. What am I saying? I don't fucking know.
Seriously,
It's at this. I guess at this point, Greg is just turning into a sponge. He just filter feeds. He doesn't need anything.
Oh god, no, he's a breatharian now.
A
Carmen, please
breatharian?
do you know what a breatharian is? Please tell me yes.
Isn't that a thing that can survive just on breathing?
No, a breatharian is a human that claims that they can survive by filter feeding.
Okay, so they're from the same level of stupid as raw water.
Ugh.
So,
Super deep.
okay, so just before we continue on that raw water joke, in Secret World, someone once, when raw water was still a huge thing, they're like, what the hell is raw water? And totally in character, I just said, my plan to kill stupid people. Next replies.
Wait, your character was
That's
Illuminati,
genius.
weren't they?
Yes, Eleanor was Illuminati, and it's just like, Illuminati, and she was the heiress to a immortal Mafia Don's global criminal empire. So, she was very powerful, so it's just like,
Okay.
my plan to kill stupid people, and everyone's just like, ... That's genius.
Water is just about the only thing I drink, and it's better with a slight tint of cholera.
Alright.
Gotta have that cholera, baby. Gets rid of the autism, you know? That joke's funny if you've actually read the study where the person's like, vaccines cause autism. If you actually read the study, it has to do with cholera. He believes cholera, caused by the vaccines, causes autism. Jesus Christ, is a really stupid study.
You know, many top scientists and people in that field are on the autistic spectrum, so autism causes vaccines.
I mean, that logic follows.
Walking out to the creek, the sun beamed down on my pale skin. I squinted only to wonder why. All I had to do was reprogram my eyes' tolerance for light, and like that it was done. I could see everything, and my eyes wide open. I slid my bare feet into the water, then I slipped my feet further into the rocks, the dirt, and shortly after my knees followed, then my hips, my chest. I was fully submerged in the ground, moving freely. Everyone else had to respect the physical world. They had to adhere to the laws of it, not upset it or disturb it for risk of repercussions. But I had yet to meet a physical mass I could not pass through. As I sank my head under the water, through the mud, with my mind made, the dirt clear, just as I had the water at the lake prior, I could see all the bodies hidden and misplaced.
Oh, God.
There were women down here. I counted 14 within a mile radius. I would walk inside the earth and come across bones seemingly under hundreds of yards. Reaching to the dirt liquefied to my touch, I felt bones of each person. They were all put here by the same man. Gary!
Meow.
Who the fuck is Gary? I'm...
Gary is not a character. Shut up.
Oh, yeah, no, it is only just now being mentioned.
Yeah. Also, so apparently, like, okay,
Hmm?
you know, I don't think they've gone into full detail about that yet, but I mean, if there are 14 bodies underneath this creek, how did they only find the one all those years ago?
Inept policing. They spent all of their budget on guns, and they forgot the part of the
Okay.
budget for finding bodies.
Here's a little question based on trivia that I want answered, that I don't think is going to be answered. Do you know what Washington is famous for? Something they're not very proud of being
Mass
famous for,
graves?
but they're famous. No. Serial killers.
Ah.
They're not very proud of it, but Washington has the highest amount of serial killers created here. Blame it on Spokane. That's all I'm going to say. But we have a lot of them, so the police tend to look for serial killers first and foremost. So, in most states, maybe inept policing would be an excuse for 14 missing bodies. Not in Washington.
Yeah, that's a good... I would not have known that.
I didn't know it either
disturbing,
until my
but
roommate
cool.
reminded me of it. And she pointed out, like, all the serial killers that started here. And she's just like, yeah.
That's messed up.
And since Greg is supposed to be from Washington, he would know this little piece of trivia.
This might be why he actually had even began the serial killer storyline, which is totally uneventful because of course he's just gonna find Gary. There's no threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't explain why the police never found the other 14 bodies.
All right.
They would have at least found 6 of them. Because they're looking for fucking serial killers here. Anytime a murder happens, they're checking it against every missing person to see if there's any similarities.
Most
Right.
of these women were previously working at strip clubs, paid to leave with the man never to see their friends or family again. I rose above the dirt and water, planting my feet on the rocks in the creek bed as if I was normal for a moment. I heard a familiar voice call out.
Who's gonna be grandma?
Daniel, what are you doing? You're soaking.
It was my grandma! I have found myself in front of her house on my hunt for the victims of Gary! I shook
Meow.
my head as the water shot off in all directions. My hair extended outward, doubling in length.
Oh my god, he is Empress Teresa.
No, keep going.
No!
My
See where
hair,
this is going.
No!
my hair turned from brown to golden blonde, and my skin heated till the water steamed off it, leaving me dry. Still holding a piece of a woman's leg in my hand, my hair was so bright now and flowed to my shoulders. But why? My
Hang on, before you continue. Previously on Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, exactly. He's going Super Saiyan, ladies and gents. This is how far we've come.
My grandma was speechless in seeing my transformation. I had no idea what caused me to suddenly change like this. I simply desired to be warm and dry as my comfort would see fit. But this change, this physical alteration felt right. My grandma was also very disturbed by me holding a piece of a woman's leg in my hand, but that doesn't matter. As I lifted off the ground, I could see tears falling from my grandma's eyes. She was
just wanna
always
make a joke.
religious and probably felt I was blessed by her God.
Can
Unfortunately,
I just wanted to make a joke real quick.
Yeah?
Greg, what's that you brought? Is that our dinner?
Hang on. Let me do one more joke before you continue. Previously on Dragon Ball Z, Greg brings his grandmother dinner. What is it? Human!
Unfortunately for me, I could not detect any gods. I could not see anything in the universe but common creatures. I was capable of so much, but I would be foolish to assume I was the most powerful being out there.
Wait for it.
I soared through the air, waiting for Greg's energy to reach out like a hand to guide me. As my legs trailed behind me, they grew. My arms began to bulge, pressing against my white button-up shirt. Hairs pushed out from my arms and legs, and distracted by this fact, I let myself fall from the air. Landing shoulder first in a Christmas tree crop, I groaned, even more confused about what was happening to me. I felt no pain. I was simply lost and concerned for what had taken over me. I was so used to being in control. I wanted to see my face, but couldn't, as I was still my own body and had no reflection to look upon. Everything else was changing.
Just will yourself a mirror, Greg. It's that easy.
Please, Popcorn, please tell me you have a sound of Goku screaming.
I don't.
This would be perfect for him just doing the Super Saiyan 3 charge up.
I had to look at myself, and there was a simple solution. My soul shot out of my body without hesitation, and I was immediately able to see a man with blue eyes, broad shoulders, at least 6 feet standing there. He looked like he was in his late 20s, almost double my age.
Holy shit, I'm legal now!
I looked down at my soul, and to my surprise, my body mirrored the man I just jumped out of. I had changed on every level without touching a line of code. Moving back in my body, I reminded myself of my agenda. I didn't want to waste time on my identity crisis while Gary was still out there.
You know what? Never mind.
Do it.
I was just gonna say, like, he's talking about, like, I don't sense any gods, but you acknowledge that you have a soul.
That is true. Well, there are some atheistic traditions that have souls, but
That's fair.
But here's the main thing though. Souls don't necessarily have to refer to Christianity, but they refer to theology in general. Just not which one. So if you're a super atheist like Greg, you're not supposed to recognize souls. You're supposed to recognize electrical impulses.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. That's kind of why I said never mind, because I sort of second guessed that idea.
Now, I kind of agree with you that it's a little ridiculous that someone who's so staunchly anti-theist would even use a soul. Atheist, sure. Anti-theist, no.
I mean, you could have just said astral body. I think most people these days can kind of grasp that concept.
I think that's too big of a word for him.
And if you're an anti-theist, you're generally not in favor of any sort of supernatural hoodoo. Astral body would count in that, I think. So would soul. So would having godlike powers coming from a divine piece of shit stuck in your skull. So he essentially pulled a Dragon Ball GT where Goku became adult every time he went Super Saiyan.
As I searched for Gary's energy standing in the field, I found myself humbled by fate. I was already within 500 feet of him. This field was his property. He was the person who ran the Christmas tree farm.
Now he's sensing energy.
Without a moment of hesitation, his throat was in my hand. I had split a line of his trees, ripping them from their roots, destroying half of his house as my body slammed through it just to hold his neck in my right hand. I didn't want
And now instant transmission. Jesus Christ, he's Goku.
I didn't want to dive into his mind. I didn't want to see what he had seen. I just wanted to know one thing. Gary gasped for air, so I released him and altered his body to have no response to gravity. He was so helpless floating in his own house. As I finished coating his body to suffer from paralysis in his weighted state, I asked him why. Gary was still able to move his mouth, and he used it to scream, "Who are you people?" That was what's going on? I screamed back, Why do you kill this woman? Where are they? He yelled back. He yelled back, "You're the devil! You're here to claim my soul? It took you long enough, you monster!" His jaw was ripped off with my thoughts alone. As his tongue flung out and slapped against his chest, I removed his arms, legs, and all the bones in his torso.
Jesus, Greg!
His screams sounded like the countless women he tortured and killed fighting peace. They sounded like justice. The world didn't need him in it. It was a mere breath's time. He ceased to exist as anything but ash on the floor, as his half demolished. As house. Bleh.
Greg has a very interesting concept of justice.
Yeah.
Gary was gone, however. Gary was gone, however, on his what? Gary was gone, however, on his wall to get pictures of his friends, men who looked just like him, mirroring his stretched-out plaid shirts and jeans far too small for his body. Looking at the photo, I planted their face in my mind and closed my eyes. There were 7 men total who had collaborated with Gary. They didn't kill the women, but they knew what he did and covered for him every chance they could, providing burial locations, overwatch assistance, and even transportation. 5 of the men, I simply called for them to cease to exist in an instant, and I felt that an absence of their presence on Earth. The last 2 I wanted to see personally. I wanted an answer to my question.
Jesus Christ. Like, so their punishment is effective. Like, they didn't suffer as long, but their punishment for even just keeping silent is the same as the guy who did the murders.
Also, in a state known for serial killers, having 7 accomplices is surefire way to get your ass caught.
Yeah.
Because I hate to tell you this, most white country boys are snitches. And I know it's a generalization, but it's fucking true. They're the ones who will sell your ass out for money.
The first of the 2 men was named Raymond. He tried to meet me with a shotgun. Unfortunately for him, it had no effect considering the alterations I made the instant he lifted it to me in his driveway. The moment he pulled the trigger, the butt of his gun exploded into pieces, shooting into Raymond's eyes.
What's up with Greg and eyes?
He fell screaming to the gravel rocks beneath my feet. I drove into his mind and saw Gary. I saw Raymond helping Gary load the bodies, and before I could even finish that thought, Raymond was gone. Burned in the rage I felt when I saw him lifting those girls one by one. Some drugged, some dead, destined to be buried and hidden from anyone who could help, with the exception of me.
Okay, so he helped bury and hide them. Yet they all 14 somehow wound up in a lake. You know, where bodies, when they decompose,
I think this is implying that there were more than just 14.
Still, the other question I have is 14 sunk to the bottom of the lake. How did they keep them down there? Because when a body decomposes, it turns to gas. And gas floats. This is why bodies that are tossed in water tend to be discovered. They float.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't care if they wrap them in steel chains, that shit's going to eventually rust. And then they'll float.
We all float.
So, I don't know why I'm questioning it. This is a book about a 14-year-old who suddenly becomes a Super Saiyan god because he has evil wish fulfillment.
What have you done? Where did Raymond go?
And all the female cried out, having witnessed Raymond fall. And at glance I set the woman the image I had just witnessed, and without a single word from me, the woman began screaming in agony. Only generic, predictable words came from her mind.
Raymond, how could you? Why, Raymond, why?
I heard her repeat the words over and over as she cried in her driveway. Her sound of sorrow trailed behind me as I flew towards the last person involved, Joseph.
I want to point out that all of this is fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Putting aside that this isn't moving the story forward at all. Like, this is like power fantasy in its purest form given print.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph was sitting on his porch. He was using a breathing device. Joseph had let his body go since meeting Gary. Right away, I knew he had been trying to eat himself to death the moment he learned of the first girl. It was clear to me Joseph would talk, so I walked up to him and asked, Why did Gary kill those women? Why do you have him? Joseph began crying. I could see all the things he had done to have Gary get away with murder, but I could also see his face every second he was involved. He wasn't angry. He wasn't disgusted. All he was sad. I spoke to Joseph. He killed your wife. He killed her before he ever made a deal with you. Joseph screamed at me.
Joseph voice. I'm just gonna make this very uninterested.
Just go full Garfield.
He said he was alive. He said he'd give her back.
Following his words with sobbing and incoherent grins. Most anyone could do nothing for this man. I could also just do nothing, but instead I sought out the soul of his wife and lured her to my side. As she stood beside me, I gave Joseph the ability to see her. In the world of the dead, she was happy. She was warm and comfortable. The moment Joseph saw this, his tears of pain turned to tears of joy. In that moment, I stopped his heart. As his body sunk forward, a much thinner man stood up and walked out of him. Joseph was whole again. I'm no longer fat. Everyone who hurt those women is now dead. Although unlike the other men, Joseph's soul remained intact. I began to fly home, leaving Joseph and his wife in each other's arms. In my attempts to leave, I felt a strong beam pull me off course. I could see it as yellow in color, and any resistance I tried to apply made me feel like a fly with its wings stuck to tape, as if getting away would force me to leave a piece of myself behind. This force is stronger than the alien beam I felt before. For the first time since gaining my abilities, I found myself completely helpless.
Yeah, no, requisite ONC on fat shaming. Oh yeah, so, are you ready to meet God?
Oh boy. I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
Did you want to be God?
No, I just want to die.
Okay, should God be Mickey Mouse, or should God be Mickey Mouse?
Big God be Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
I felt like I was covered in slime, laying on the ground staring at a distant white light. The ground was hard, cold as ice. Hairline cracks I could barely sense ran through the white and black veinous surface that seemed to stretch on for miles into the blackness that surrounds me.
Hang on. All right.
Okay.
You're not as powerful as you think, Daniel.
A voice came from the white glowing light above me. Looking up, I called back, I ain't asked any of this! I don't care anybody this! Get away! The voice shot back,
Don't waste my time, Daniel.
and with a thunderous boom, the light shot forward and sacked right against the ground in front of me. I wanted to see what was beneath the light, so I altered my eyes to cut through whatever cloak this creature was putting up. Immediately, time slowed in accordance with my will, and a skull riddled with decay revealed beyond.
Oh no! I think this isn't God. This is death.
Oh. Goofy is death.
All right.
The lower jaw of the skull was missing, and the spine of the creature is being held together by screws and metal bars. My vision went to white, then black as the creature impacted the rock floor we stood upon. I corrected my eyes again to see a man standing before me with an aura that glowed gold. His eyes shined blue, and he wore a black and white striped suit. Only this suit seemed to have no ends, like it just faded into his bones. He applied again.
Oh God! I'm an angel, and you're disrupting the order of our world.
I replied immediately. You're no angel, you are dead. I saw your own bones, and what you're showing me now is a lie. The creature stomped on the ground furiously and screamed.
What? Gosh, how could you possibly know? What are you?
And shot
You know,
his head-
there is the concept of the Angel of Death.
Yeah.
There's also Ereshkigal, Hades, Persephone, several other ones, Thanatos, Nurgle, and so on and so forth. There are things besides death that are associated with death.
Indeed.
And death is just kind of benign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually gods of death are actually pretty chill people unless you royally piss them off like Sisyphus.
Mm-hmm.
And Sisyphus is like, I'm just going to keep cheating death. Winds up dying of old age, sitting right on Persephone's lap, and he wakes up to one really pissed off Persephone.
He shot his hand up in the air, clicking his fingers together. The healthy-looking man he projected flickered to his bone frame as he clicked. Sounds fell on the room as his jawless face turned to me. I felt it smile even though the bones before me remained still. Upon the second echo of his clicked fingers bouncing through the back room, I felt my chest explode. My spine ripped down my back as my heart shot forward. My face turned to joy as my blonde hair thrusted backward. I could only hope that this creature was going to lend me the answers I craved. My upper body separated from the bottom and my head smacked against the ground. My blood flew in all directions. It was spattered against the creature's dead stare.
Against the creature dead stare.
Oh yeah, against the creature dead stare.
You know, if this were a better book, I'd voluntarily do the Ereshkigal voice from Fate Grand Order, but he doesn't deserve Ereshkigal.
No.
No, Ereshkigal is cute. This guy's an asshole, the writer.
The Reaper silently walked toward my upper body and bent over to look into my eyes. I mouthed words silently to him. I felt confusion in the Reaper. He had no idea what I was trying to say. Laughter erupted through me, causing blood to shoot out my mouth onto his skull again. I could read the mind of the Reaper now for some reason. And so every life he took, every person he robbed of this world before their time in the most unforgivable ways. He watched groups of orphan children burn. He danced to the cries of women being invaded, violated, and murdered by forces from other countries.
Jesus, he has this weird fixation on rape.
Probably because he is a rapist.
Yeah. The order I was disrupting was not made up. There was in fact an order, and this Reaper designed the order to be merciless and indiscriminate. I wanted this Reaper, death itself, to understand what I was saying in my mandolin stand on the floor. So he altered code to rattle his head with the sound of my amplified voice. The words I mouthed were, "Keep back in control!" As the creature shook and screamed at the echoes of my voice exploding around his mind, he yelled back,
I am control! I am death!
Okay, can I do a little soapbox here real quick?
Yep.
Just a tiny one. Okay, so I actually, because of the whole Hellenistic thing, one of the Greek gods I do worship is Persephone and Hades by extension. So I do know a bit about why death is always portrayed as an evil thing when in reality they're not merciless or anything. Things happening in the real world around them is not their job. Their job is to judge you after you die and you enter in their domain. All they do is take care of the soul to continue the cycle of reincarnation. Or transferring souls on to new bodies, depending on which religion you're in. And the reason it's always gods of death are always portrayed as evil is because it's a necessity. Sometimes you have really good people and you give them a peaceful afterlife. Other times you have people like Hitler or Onisan who are scumbags, ruin people's lives and stuff, and they need to be able to do wicked things in order to punish the person, such as using the example of Sisyphus. He went down, cheated going back to arrange his funeral, and then didn't come back when he was told to in 3 days. So what did they do? They basically they tell him the only way he can get back out is if he can get that boulder to the top of the cliff, but every time it gets up there, it rolls right back down. Basically making a poignant example of you're doing something pointless in death, just like trying to cheat death in life. Or, for example, kidnappers such as the Aslu tried to kidnap Persephone. Yes, there's actually a myth where someone went to Hades because he thought he was entitled to marry one of Zeus's daughters and tried to kidnap Persephone from her husband. Yeah, his name was Pirithous. So they only are evil in the extent of they can do horrible things, but they only do those horrible things when they need to. They have no control over the order of life because that is not their domain. The reason people fear them is the innate fear of death itself.
I think the way that death is looked at from the perspective Greg is coming at is, I wouldn't say it's modern, but I would say it's the more common outlook in the modern age of death being evil when it's more so just there.
Death has always been feared because you didn't want to spark the ire of a god or a goddess of death. There's a reason Persephone for a while was called. I'm
saying that like not just feared, but like looked at as
I know.
Yeah.
And that's because it's a very Christian outlook.
Yeah.
No offense, Popcorn, but when Romans Christianized a lot of old religions, they did forcefully equate death to Satan, which is where the god of death being evil, when in reality a god of death is just neutral. And the only time they're mean or wicked is when you've crossed a line.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, historically, yeah.
Yeah, death, Hades is the dead, Thanatos is the actual process of death, and you've got Chiron, which is the deliverer of souls, and Persephone, who's both life and death simultaneously. She's the compassion of death, where Hades is the death. Mm-hmm. But Persephone is also known as the Dread Queen for a reason. She's the one person you did not want to piss off.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, Christians making villains out of other religions' gods, everyone knows how much I like Loki.
Well, to be fair, Hades was a really good husband despite the whole kidnapping story, because it was really common in Greece. If you think about it, Persephone ran the underworld, not Hades. He let his wife run the domain. Grade A husband material. He let her run it how she wanted to. He only stepped in when he needed to. There's a power couple. Yeah. Let's continue.
All right.
Altering the code.
Yep. Altering the code. I surrounded the creature and it screams with gray material I designed myself in a matter of seconds. I created to contain any force, including death itself. I bound the creature, controlling the mass with my mind, and as the gray material fully enclosed around the Reaper, I crushed him to the size of a child's marble. Still laying on the floor in pieces, the black rock in my head shot out of my defeated body and formed a new shell around it. I liked the body of the man that was thrust onto me before and kept its form. Walking over to the marble now rolling around on the floor, I picked it up and held it in front of my face. I could still feel the energy of the creature inside. Unfortunately for the creature, however, I could not process that with its new condition. I had converted the existence of death into a crippled and impotent state. I had to alter the code of reality again to extract the origin of this Reaper from a state of compression that didn't exist before. As I scanned the data before me, I found the source of death. It aligned closely with what most humans considered God, but in the code, I also saw the truth many had never imagined. God was not the source of all things. God was just another son. He created evil like death because he was himself evil.
Oh my god, Greg, that is so unique. That has never been done. You are a genius.
Yes, you just recreated the tale of Sisyphus. You fucking idiot. This is literally the tale of Sisyphus. What Sisyphus did by trapping Thanatos in a crate, essentially, Thanatos, or in some tellings Hades, no one could die. Everyone else got pissed off about this, especially Ares, so they went fucking looking for him.
Oh
my god.
He created The devil never really existed, as people have believed for so long. The devil is just an aspect of God's divine personality, like anyone's father when he is in the worst mood.
Jeez, Greg, dad problems much?
You have so many daddy issues that you have to go and project them on God.
Every crime, every tear that fell, it was caused by God. He created death, he created our suffering, he sent the Reaper to end me. The cover for my eyes revealed God's face, and the expression he had when he sent death to me. He was not too busy to handle himself, he was just afraid.
Oh, wait, can I just make a joke real
Yep.
quick? The code before my eyes revealed God's face. He looked like a Monty Python cartoon.
And also to the comment chat, yeah, essentially everyone's immortal now because Onisan just recreated the tale of Sisyphus in a way longer tale than it fucking needed to be.
Or if you want
84 pages to recreate Sisyphus.
Well, or in a more recent iteration, Torchwood, I guess.
Yeah, but Torchwood didn't involve directly killing death or trapping them so they can't do their job.
True.
This is literally the tale of Sisyphus, where he captured death and trapped them.
Oh god, we're getting to some of the weirdest stuff.
Diving deeper in the code, I can see God's father, a man by the name of Kull. Kull was unlike God, in that God was flesh through and through. Kull, however, had no flesh in his skull whatsoever. It was composed of a substance most any human would perceive as gas and dust. I searched the code for God's location, however 3 different locations came back to me. Without hesitation, I lifted my arm, directed my energy to my former body, laying there split in 2 in the floor. My former flesh united again, my skull filled with light and clothes become whole again. I spoke to the old body as the new stone formed within the heart. You are everything I am not. You are compassionate where I am cruel. You are true where I am lost. But you are programmed, just like everything else on this earth. The body spoke back in a strong and soft voice. I'm inside of you. I feel everything you are. Without further instruction, the body shot through the seemingly endless black above us and ripped a hole as his body shot through the limits of the illusion. Death had surrounded us in.
So yeah, just for the people in the back, Greg, Daniel's old corpse was put back together, revived, and there are now 2 Daniels running around.
So
It's my worst nightmare.
So we have now ripped off Dragon Ball Z, Sisyphus,
Yeah, basically.
and now we're ripping off Fate Extella Umbral Star's plot of Hakuto splitting herself into 3 pieces. Jesus fucking Christ, is there anything you haven't ripped off in this chapter so far? Don't take that as a challenge, please. That wasn't a challenge.
The body looked down on me as the walls of black flowed down to the ground miles all around like curtains being ripped off from the windows in slow motion. The body's hair floated before the now exposed sun. He smiled on me as a tear slid down his face. I flinched my eyes at him, and his smile faded within a blink. He was gone to confront one of the god locations. Now seeing the fabric walls fade around me, I could see I was very near where I was hit with the beam of energy earlier. My chains were lifted. I could feel my freedom again. The second and the third god locations would be up to me. Picking one, I launched off the ground, cratering the rock left in my wake. As I flew at a blinding speed, I called for Julie to meet me miles outside my destination. She arrived seconds after I did. Julie walked toward me with a concerned expression. She knew who I was. She was already in my mind.
Oh no.
I think you might be too old for me now, Daniel.
she said
Then-
with a smirk. I'm doing my new appearance.
Does this mean you'll leave me alone now?
I laughed and grabbed her by the throat.
Oh boy.
So this is legit one of my biggest fears as an asthmatic is being choked. And I'm now playing a character being choked.
Light
Fuck
illuminated
you,
under my palm
Owen.
on her neck, and she dove into my thoughts once more. I could feel Julia get overtaken by fear. She spoke in my mind.
You want to kill God?
No, not quite.
Oh, right. Hang on, sorry. You want me to kill God?
I spoke
Please
aloud
go away.
in a response. I just put everything in your body. I'll attach to you in a way that cannot be separated by anything but me. Julia looked down at the ground as I released her throat. She began to cry. I could see I was out of line for asking so much of her. She had the tools now, but not the will. I spoke again. I've asked too much. This is my dysfunctional way of spending time with you. But clearly I didn't think about you before thinking about myself.
Gee! I wonder! You made her immortal against her will!
Murdering God is just my dysfunctional way of spending time with you.
Oh, dads, am I right? I hate my life.
And yes, God's dad is made of farts.
So, did Greg, the real guy, did his dad molest him or something? What the fuck is with his obsession with dads and rape?
I don't know.
Besides the fact he's a child molester projecting.
Based on what I've heard, his dad is actually fine. Greg is just a narcissistic piece of shit.
Julie looked up and said in my mind again.
Hang on. Setting my own again. Anything less screwed up I can do for you, Daniel?
As she wiped away her tears from the stress I caused her, I held up.
God, like, every time he asks her to do something, she breaks out into tears. You notice that?
Yeah, because she has no fucking choice.
True. I mean, within the continuity of this story as Greg intended it.
I held out my hand upside down and clenched. She reached out hers. A marble hit her palm. Julie looked up at me concerned. I spoke aloud gain. There is the Grim Reaper. He is frozen there and cannot escape. Hold on to him for me, will you? Julie began to say something back, but couldn't finish her thought. I was already gone.
Yes, please be my Sisyphus crate.
Giving you the Grim Reaper is my dysfunctional way of spending time with you. But clearly, I'm not thinking about you before thinking of myself. Oh, God. The body had already concluded the first guy location. I wanted to beat him to the others.
Alright. This is the last one before I have to open up the other document.
Yeah.
So this will be a good end to the stream.
Yeah.
Alright. And then next week I'll share the new document. Jesus fucking Christ.
So, let's do it.
Super Saiyan God.
In an instant,
Oh, by the way, this is called the Hand of God.
In an instant, I was already where I needed to be. Location coding is rather simple.
Pardon.
I just didn't want to take my time traveling. I now stood behind a man who looked like what most would imagine any guy to be. A white silhouette that flickered black to white before me, a massive yellowish glow light beam around him. I felt him watching me despite the appearance that he was not even facing me. There was no delay. Energy shot out the god figure, and I immediately felt the rock in my head began to take the brunt of his attack. The body instantaneously appeared, slamming into God in a body 5 times. This is so weirdly written. Slamming into God in a body 5 times larger than he had before. It was too late to stop God from damaging my core existence. The attack he had jolted my head with. I was so underprepared. Collapsing on the white and yellow slabs of stone, I found God's half standing on. My vision blurred, and I felt like I had to vomit while simultaneously getting the sensation that black hole within my head was sucking my mind into itself. I heard a scream like I had never heard before. It wasn't coming from the body. I looked up with my failing eyes and saw God's hand explode in a bloody shot for everyone to see. He had an attempt to strike the body down, yet his violence turned on him tenfold without any reaction from the body. I could see God wielding a sword in his remaining hands as he reformed the other. He took a queer swing at the body, attempting to decapitate my creation. As the blade approached the body's head, God slowed until coming to a complete state of standing paralysis. His hand remained half-formed. His arm flickered like a light bulb in its last minutes. His whole body now frozen in place as if muscles had become cement. It was clear. The body had defeated the second half of God. As I felt relief, I allowed myself to collapse completely. Yet I remained conscious.
Yeah, this is that was a fight scene.
Yeah, that was okay,
I'm really confused of what the hell Greg is. Is he just a floating head and a sentient body right now?
No, he has 2 bodies now. The body is his old body, and then he has his new body.
And what's his new body? The Super Saiyan form?
No, like both of them are the same, except the new one is apparently much larger now.
So, yeah, Kratos, you are not.
I see the body walking over to me. His thoughts, I cannot feel them anymore. I cannot communicate with him or in any sense, or even sense his presence in any way I used to. In his warm giant arms, I felt myself lifted, dangled there like a child who had just fallen from his bike. As the body walked away from the second god half, I looked back and saw the frozen man begin to crumble into shards of stone. Then, into dust, until eventually he was nothing. The body placed his hand over my eyes, as I felt blood from my skull seep out of my forehead, trickling down into my ears as I remained limp in his arms. I heard popping noises. Then I felt my bones being pulled out of my brain where the second god had crushed them into me. With only minutes past, I was fully healed again. The body had taken me to a wooded area far from where the last god fell. Placing me into a standing position, the body spoke. "The first god is very affirmative," I quickly replied. "Yes, clearly you've earned some deal. You handed the second like you're nothing, but..." The body interrupted me. "The reason you can't read my mind, the reason you can't even sense me, is because I beat the first god. I have to operate in an entirely different universe too."
Ugh.
For once in a long time, I was completely lost. I replied, "Go in." The body nodded at me and continued. "This world, everything we know here, it operates on system, one program. Everything on this world is accessible by you and me, but it's also accessible by the gods." I began to understand what the body was talking about. He was going to tell me that he had found a way to prevent the gods from altering his code. The body interrupted my thoughts. "What you're thinking is somewhat true, but in reality, I don't even operate off code anymore. I am no longer prisoner to the programming. I am beyond the Matrix."
Okay, so now he's one of the overseers from I'm a Spider, so what? Got it.
Yeah, and I agree with Swift. Like this could have been an interesting, an interesting exploration into the Holy Trinity. But no, not really.
And it's also, every time I hear the body, I'm just picturing that scene from D. Gray Man where the dude turns into a giant headless, armless torso that's trying to kill everyone. That's all I'm picturing.
To put it simply, humans are to computers as I am now to humans. My existence is far more complicated than the comparatively simple lines of code you designed me with. I looked at the ground, feeling humbled by the only other person I could be humbled by, myself. I replied, "Sir, what you're saying is no one here can stop you? The last guy will not be a challenge whatsoever, no matter how strong he is." The body smiled and replied, "Only this time he spoke directly to my mind, sharing exactly what I needed to do to become like him. I immediately took advantage of the information he provided. Within seconds, I felt my whole mind being pulled into quicksand, and slowly after it, the remainder of my existence. My body, my everything. Dropping to my knees, I grunted, and struck the ground as if someone had knocked the wind out of me. At the initial shock, my last sense of the body returned. I could feel the last of the three gods stronger than before. I could feel the presence of Julie as if she was right in front of me. I knew exactly where David was, where all of my teachers from school were. I knew the location of everyone and everything, as if it was a short reach away.
Yeah, if only that would happen, Swift. That would be preferable to this.
So many things seemed unlike they were before. Instead of having to search for codes in the universe to answer whatever questions I had, I now only had to look within my own mind. I looked into the body's mind to see how the first guy was defeated. I was bombarded with the images of the body nearly dying. I saw the first god attempt to cut the body's head off like the second had. Only the first god was successful. Witnessing the images of the body appearing dead, I could see him now standing physically in front of me with eyes of sadness. Driving back into the past, more images flooded in. The body had done what I had done. "I learned from you! I learned from you, Dave!" The body spoke up, interrupting my observation from what had happened. I gave the body the ability to do almost anything I could, and in that he too created a replacement for himself. Only while forming the new body, he multiplied its size and shifted its programming into a fun the first god could not comprehend, and therefore could not alter and impact in any significant way. As the first god sized every part of the original form of the body into pieces, his new shell was forming behind the unwitting deity. The first god could not detect the body like I could not, and without delay, the far larger form of the body crushed the first god half into sludge. The body then acted the second god's kid to become divided so thinly that he could be blown away as meaningless fragments of trash in the wind.
Okay, wait a minute. I just noticed something. The first god half, he used that phrase before and I didn't quite notice it, but the first half of the three parts of God.
Wait. Greg.
Math!
I noticed
also, this is just making me want to play Dragon's Dogma, which has an actual plot about you killing God and replacing them, that is done in a much more poetic and informative way, dealing with like the struggles of immortality and how lonely it can be when you can't have access to anyone or connection to anything. And instead, I'm reading this. And I'm really just wanting to go be an Arisen right now, because this is bad, this is awful, this is terrible, and Greg, you're becoming God! You're killing God so you can become God! To get rid of God.
It's kind of worse than that, but we'll get there.
Before I could finish the full absorption of all the information, the body was already up to something new. With the mere thought he had delivered the last god to us, already paralyzed but very much so weak. Standing before us, the last god is paralyzed not just by the power of the body, but also frozen in his own terror. The body allowed the god to speak.
"You're punishing me, aren't you? Haven't you done enough?"
God shouted. I looked at the body, cueing him to speak for me. The body smiled slightly, feeling honored his creator wanted him to speak to God in his place. But I knew the body was well aware that I remained humble, as he evolved faster than even me. I was also me, the most humble man.
Oh yes, Greg, the symbol of humbleness.
The body spoke. You invented everything wrong this world. Countless humans and other animals have been slaughtered under your watch. Children dying of cancer. Mothers crying as their half-formed children fall from their bodies. Innocent people drowning in your floods, burning your fires. Tell me, God, does the devil even really exist? Because else I can't sense him anywhere. God laughed, and the body erupted in laughter. It was a rhetorical question, God. I'm well aware there's no devil. I'm well aware that if there was a devil, he would have been the first of the God house there to kill. Well, I'm well aware of your failure. I'm well aware you are a failure of your father, Cole. I know this world wasn't even your creation, but rather the creation of the sister you murdered, the daughter of Cole. And you took her life right before the first genocide you committed against her creations.
So yes, God didn't just create, God as a female half. The female half is good because Greg.
Yeah, because dad's bad, mommy's whatever.
Okay, so I was actually looking up who the fuck Kull is, because I love mythology. I've never fucking heard of who this is. I got two answers. Conan and Dark Multiverse DC.
Of course.
Kull is the evil daughter of Batman and Wonder Woman.
I doubt that's where he got it from, so it was probably from Conan.
Yeah, Conan, it's a guy. But daughter of Kull, so it would make sense. But it's like...
God screamed, his spit poured out of his mouth. How he passed me near again? You're the creation of a boy in a man's body.
That's God talking, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Kull of Atlantis. That's who the other person is.
God screamed, his spit poured out of his mouth.
How could he possibly know that? You're the creation of a boy in a man's body. You've existed for only days. And you can just tell who I am? My sister was scum. She was everything my father wanted, and my father is scum too.
As I watched, the body continued to scold God. I could see what the body was seeing. God not only killed his sister, he also violated his body because of fucking curse. He killed her in his own shame as a result of what he did to her. He was jealous of his father's love for his sister. He wanted to do everything he could to claim the power his sister wielded. He wanted to ruin her, and out of jealousy, he did everything horrible he could to her before ending her very existence.
I think...
Okay, so we know which Greek god Greg liked, because he's literally just quoting Athena at this point.
I think literally every single female character in this with a name has either...
That isn't the sister.
Who isn't the sister, or... Yeah, who isn't the sister, because Julia was definitely violated. I think literally every single character in this story with a name, and most of them without, have been sexually violated in some capacity.
Uh-huh. Also, the whole little stick of hating the sibling or whatever, the whole paragraph you just read, is if you change that from a brother and sister to a pair of goddesses, that is exactly what Athena did to Medusa after Medusa was raped. She stole her domain, because Medusa is Berber, she was a goddess of wisdom, stole her domain, wisdom, wiped her out from her own cult by making her turn everyone she looks at to stone, etc., etc. And it's like, dude, you can't even get original, you're stealing fucking Medusa's thunder with this bullshit?
As I watched the body, blah, 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 I interrupted the body. Cain, a god, Cain versus Abel, Lucifer versus humans, those stories of you confessing what you did, but simply pasting names on people, the names of made-up people, to take the blame instead of you. It wasn't you.
Can I... I just wanted to say real quick that that Greg spelled Abel wrong. He spelled it like the word Abel and not the person.
Yeah, it's A-B... E-L, not
go-
A-E-L-E.
No, it's Cain versus the able-bodied.
Wait a minute. And he didn't even use the proper spelling of Cain. In the Bible, Cain is spelled C-A-I-N. He spelled it like Cain, the guy who got a chest bone or an alien.
Yeah, I was gonna say the wrestler, but that works too. Also, Lucifer versus humans? What the fuck are you talking about? It was Lucifer versus God, because Lucifer wanted humanity to think for themselves, where God wanted humanity to stay loyal, and thus keeping the apple of knowledge away from humanity, which is where Lucifer tempted them into it. It's like, get your own fucking mythology right, jackass!
I don't think most Christians even know that, dude.
No, they don't. They also don't know that Adam in their mythology had 2 wives. One of them was Lilith. Lilith...
Well, it depends on if you're talking about the stuff that was codified or not. That was one of the stories that was not added when the New Testament was assembled in the... what was it called?
Yeah. It's also when they started... It was around the time when they were also purging the elements that revealed that Judaism and the religions that spawned into Christianity both were matriarchal and then slowly shifted to patriarchal. Because I'm dead serious, they actually were. There's some mythology precedents behind this.
I'm sorry, Swift's comment.
John Hurt versus ableism.
What the hell, Swift?
Okay, so we've got the wrestler Cain versus the Able. Are they going to be in a steel cage match? Are they going to have chairs? I want to know this. We have Cain, the wrestler.
I want to try and push this. We're almost done.
It wasn't Lucifer who was jealous of how much humans were loved. It was you. It wasn't Cain who resented Abel. That too was projection of yourself. A sad man who wanted everything his sister had. God was glaring directly into my eyes at this point. No energy came from them. No threats to fight him at all. He was shamed. He was defeated. And looking into his eyes with only a thought, I turned his bones into ash, his skin and muscles fell to the ground like a puff of steam climbing up the floor, eventually becoming unnoticeable. It was that easy. Looking at the body, I asked, "Do you know anything about what cold I do not?" The body replied, "I know. You think I might have the ability to hide something from you, but I gave that up when I made you like me. I did this because you had nothing for me, so I cannot do anything else for you." I looked at the ground where God once stood. I spoke under my breath. So those who God drowned in the flood, they were actually the original creations of his sister. They were perfect versions of us. And God thought he could do better. Yet God wound up killing so many of us just like him. So my question is, the body spoke up. Why did Cole willingly create a monster like God?
Oh.
And the answer is, I don't fucking care.
And the answer is, we'll find out next week. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'm sorry for rushing the ending here, but we've been going... We are approaching 3 hours.
Also, Kull literally is King Kull from Atlantis in Conan. That is literally the only thing I can find revolving around Kull in religion.
He might have just pulled the name out of his ass. It's possible.
Well, knowing Greg, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Conan. Because, I mean, a lot of extreme right-wingers like to read Fantasy Wars.
So yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming out. Popcorn and Carmen, thank you for joining me on this bullshit.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Swift, thanks for staying for the whole damn stream. You always stick in for the long haul. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
How many did we have today? Wow. Let's see here. If we take Viridian Storms out, that's me. We've got quite a few viewers today.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone for coming out. Next week, same time, same place, we will be finishing this bullshit. Hopefully. Ugh.
Yeah.
I will see you all next week. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Actually, wait. If I just wait a couple, 30 more seconds, I can make this 3 hours exactly. Come on. Just 30 more seconds. Come on. Just 30 more seconds.
By the way, in chat, Viridian Storms is me. Just so you know which one of the users is actually me.
I recognize some of the names in chat. I'm happy for everyone that came out. Okay, 15 more seconds. Come on. Just a little bit longer. Come on.
So have you got? So what's the deal with the
With airline food.
Catholics? I don't know.
No one let them know. Bye, everybody.